I put slow mode on, so
What's slow mode do?
it just keeps them. I set it at 15-second intervals so they can't comment more than once every 15 seconds.
Oh, I don't even know how to do that yet. I was just fucking around with this new grinder that I just picked up.
Where'd you get? What brand?
I picked up this Makita.
Oh yeah, they're out. That's actually like the classic Makita thing. Is those angle grinders? Those things go forever.
Yeah, I picked up this 4.5 inch off of my dad's recommendation from Makita. I do have a DeWalt, but now that I've been doing more welding and everything, it is kind of a luxury to have one sander and then one cutter / grinder, so that way I don't have to juggle back and forth so much.
Yeah.
Not bad for $56, so I was like, whatever.
Well, at Home Depot right now, I think they're selling the rigid 4.5 inch angle grinders, the 2-pack of them for like $79.
I didn't see that out there. I didn't see rigid. I saw Ryobi, Milwaukee. They had Bosch. They had Makita, and there was one other one, DeWalt.
Yeah, I bought a Porter cable a couple months ago.
Porter cable, that's Lowe's, isn't it?
Yeah, they have it. That's where I got it from. But they had just started carrying it, and they were running it for, I think it was regularly $40. They were running it for $25. I got it on sale. What's up, everybody? Everybody, welcome. But
what's going on, everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still not seeing the. Maybe I gotta go. Oh, there's your homepage. Okay.
Yeah,
you gotta go to the homepage first. I gotcha. What's up, Nick? What's up, Eddie?
Yeah, I actually haven't used that Porter cable yet, but I got it just basically because it was such a good deal, and I thought, hey, why not? I have one of those cheap Drill Master ones, but that thing fell apart pretty much right off the bat.
Yeah, the thing I was thinking was that I was like, well, the DeWalt was like, I think $5 or $10 more, and I was like, well, I have a DeWalt, but I was like, my dad recommends Makita all the time, and I'm like, I'll give him a shot. There's nothing wrong with trying something new. That's why we're tool guys. You try something new, you share it, you do the review, and let them know what you think about it. It came packaged pretty nice, and they gave me a free grinding wheel, so I couldn't complain about that, really.
Yeah.
I just figured it'd be a huge time saver when it comes to doing like the artsy craftsy welding and trying to build that welding table.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know that's one of the things for Makita. I was kind of soured on Makita early on. I had like one of their, back in probably, I don't know, 95 or 96, I got their 14.4 drill.
Oh, yeah?
And
is that corded? That was corded or cordless?
Cordless, yeah, 14.4 cordless NiCad.
Okay.
And,
died out on you, huh?
Well, actually, it didn't die out. I just didn't like it that well. My dad had a Makita miter saw that he used when he did finish work. He never liked that. The thing that really messed it up was Makita. They made and still make two. Now they make two of them, but they're 7 1/4 framing saws, so they're blade left. But they're not worm drive saws. They're both hypoid saws. And my dad had that first one that they made, like back in the late 80s or early 90s, and he had nothing but problems with the thing. It would, it was double insulated, but it would shock him all the time, and the thing torqued really bad when you started it up, and it just,
it took a junk, huh?
Yeah. So we were not real big Makita fans back in the day, but I have heard nothing but good things about those angle grinders, and that's one of the things I thought, well, if I was going to buy something Makita, that would probably be it.
If I saw a rigid, I probably would have picked up the rigid, but I didn't see them at the time. They didn't have them out on display.
Yeah, some of that stuff, I noticed that they had it in a stack out in front by the registers. They had that 20-piece ratcheting wrench set, 10 metric, 10 SAE.
The Husky or
Right, it's Husky. It's branded as Husky, but it's the exact same as the gear wrench set. They're both Apex.
okay.
So it's the set that they sell at Napa on sale for like $60. And they basically they were selling it last Christmas time for $50 at Home Depot, and I bought one. And then after Christmas, they still had a couple stores had some left, and so they marked them down. Anyway, I went through there like, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks after Christmas. I saw there were probably they had probably 3 left, and they had them marked down to $30 each.
Huh.
And if I hadn't just bought some, I would have gone the other direction, but or I would have gotten another one. But they one of the stores had them again. I think they took them down from top stock or something. They had marked them back up to $47. So
they have a tendency of doing that before the holidays. You know, got Thanksgiving coming up, Black Friday. They're gonna fucking mark everything down. Yeah. But they're going to mark it up before they do that, so that way it looks like it's actually on sale, but it's actually like the normal price for the most part.
Right.
There are some really good deals, though, during Black Friday, unless I'm just that fooled and gullible.
I keep track. I mean, I worked at Lowe's for a year, and Christmas time, Father's Day, Black Friday, those are good stuff.
Thinking about getting a little miniature fucking refrigerator for work. But I guess I should wait until I start before I do that.
Well, that's
looking at my little spot, and they gave me 2 bays, and I was like, "Fuck, dude, it's hot as fuck down there. It's like a 20-degree difference. Well, it's 10 to 15 degree difference, but it feels like it's 20 degrees hotter." I was like, "I'm gonna want a fridge with some water and shit like on the ready, you know." I got kind of spoiled at the independent shop. They had fucking water and ice on tap, dude. They had a big ass refrigerator. You can just put ice in a cup, water in it, and just slug away, dude. It was like the watering hole for everybody.
Huh. How much does one of those mini fridges run?
You know, they start anywhere between $80 and $350, depending on the size, the color. If you wanted to have the extra fancy spot for the soda to drop into the door, or you just want the ones that has the little beam that comes across. So I think like the more fancier the inside gets and the more like colors that they provide for the outside, the more costly it is. Like they offer stainless steel and black and white. If you just get your run-of-the-mill white one, it's like $60-$80, something like that when they're on special.
Right.
On special, they're about $120-$130.
Yeah. I'm seeing questions in the chat about slow mode. I think you guys could figure that out. I have it set for 1 comment every 15 seconds, so I think that should be sufficient. But I think we know what's going on there. What's up, everybody? Everybody's saying hi. I'm not really saying hi.
What's up, Maxwell? Peter? Cheers, Keith.
And yeah.
Go check out Matco's mini fridge. Oh no. We're not trying to buy $1,000 fridge, guys. You know what I'm saying? just a little $100 mini fridge would be fine. I could put a Matco sticker on it and call it a Matco fridge.
Yeah, I would go with the Ryobi fridge before I went with the Matco fridge. Maybe.
Holy fucking tits, dude. I just saw that we got 11 dislikes. How the hell did that fucking happen?
Well, we know how that happened. That's expected. Yeah, no, believe me, I did the math on this over the last day and a half. I know what's going on.
I've never seen that.
Oh yeah. That's a classic. That's a classic move right there.
Holy shit balls.
Here's the thing.
I was like, this is going to be a good stream.
This is a good question for you to ask yourself here.
Sure.
Philosophically speaking, I've banned and preemptively banned a bunch of people. I don't have everybody banned out, but they all will be. And I've gotten about 30 accounts terminated in the last three or 3.5 weeks. And during that time, I've seen my subscriber base grow by like 40 subs, 50 subs.
Is that good?
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. The trolls show up every time and they watch and they go back after the fact and watch and they try to get through in the comment section after the fact.
Uh-huh.
But who's trolling who?
Yeah.
Because I'm not letting them take part in the conversation. I'm building a channel and making money off of their views and their view times. And I'm locking them out of everything so nobody could see what they're saying. So who's trolling who?
Yeah, no shit.
I'm laughing all the way to the bank over here.
I just never seen that, dude. I mean, I could see it if it was a joke and they were like, haha, just kidding, and then they put it back in the thumbs up area. But I've never seen that.
No, I did the math after we talked about this over the last 3 or 4 days, whenever we told everybody we were doing, they were watching, and I saw the my sub count boost during that time, so it was fully expected.
They're always watching.
Yeah, Keith, he's gonna have to. They're gonna have to contact you privately.
Nice echo effect. I don't know what they mean by that.
So how did your move? Let's continue to just.
Oh, dude, the move, it went really well actually. I thought I was like, there's always the jitters, going to a new shop, you don't know what to expect, all this other shit. They're like, pull in, take your time, take your stuff off, and I was like, fuck, they're gonna get pissed. They're probably busy. How am I gonna pull this trailer in, offload my toolbox, that green Matco service cart, my little other service cart that I got, and I got all these tools jammed inside my truck and in the back of this truck, and I'm like, fuck, I was just dreading it, but it all went pretty swimmingly. The hardest part about the whole entire move was, one, saying goodbye to everybody at the independent shop. We crossed telephone numbers with each other. I left on really good terms. Everyone there was really good to me the whole entire time. A barbecue should have been a good sign and a given on that one. We threw a barbecue, and it was an epic little redneck barbecue. It couldn't have got much more redneck than what we did. We had salad, but we had no bowls. So we put this Greek macaroni salad into little tiny Dixie cups. And then we didn't have a spatula. So those gasket scrapers you can get from Cornwall and Matco? Well, we use those for the burger flippers and the steak flipper.
Uh-huh.
So it was great, dude. Everyone had a great time. And then the hardest part about the whole entire move, though, was, one, saying goodbye to everybody. And then two, was actually taking everything out of this Husky tote. I bought one of those big Husky tote boxes, and I took everything out of the drawers of my big toolbox to make it easier to load up into the trailer. And it was like offloading and putting everything back in its perspective drawer, more or less. I actually changed a few drawers based on some things, functionality purposes, that I was at the independent shop, and I noticed there was other ways that I could make my box functional, but I couldn't do it without having more storage somewhere else, because it would take away from like having the tools in the job. Having that service cart with the 5 drawers kind of helped to backfill that a little bit. So it freed up. I have one empty drawer. I've never had any empty drawers in this toolbox since I've gotten it. So now I have one empty drawer. I've actually got a full designated plier drawer. I'm still not happy with the top drawer, because to me, I think the top drawer, with having your sockets and ratchets and all that stuff, is pretty important to have in that top drawer for some reason. But I've just never really been happy with the full layout. So I'll be playing with it for probably the next couple of weeks to a month until I figure out if I like it or not.
You want to
share? Yeah?
Yeah, you want to share anything about the hutch?
Oh, so you guys noticed the hutch in the background. I took it off because of a power outlet reason. I didn't have my hole saw kit with me. I wasn't trying to drill through the back of it. I didn't know how that whole thing was going to work out. So rather than trying to mess with, I didn't know what kind of power outlet setup they were going to give me. I have one power outlet. and it's right in the nook of the corner of the toolbox. So there was no way for me to gauge where to drill this preemptive hole through the aluminum diamond plate and through the license plates. So I just took the hutch off. Also, I talked about it in a previous, I think it was a stream. It could have been a video. The Harbor Freight cabinet actually hooks on and mates to most any toolbox. So I thought that at some point in time, for 200 bucks, it might be worth the investment to buy that cabinet from Harbor Freight. I don't care if it's red, but I mean, I'd probably try to paint it black to match the toolbox. And I can store the boxed items in there, like diagnostic equipment, like the coolant pressure testers, fucking, you know what I mean? The spark testers, the leak down checkers, the compression testers. I got a bunch of boxed items that I don't want to take out of their prospective boxes. So I'd want to get a side locker at some point in the near future. Spending $1,500 to $2,000 on a Cornwall one is outside of my price range.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for storing, and I am getting feedback from your speaker.
Yeah.
But for storing like blow molded cases and stuff like that, it doesn't make sense to just spend that much money, does it?
For 200 bucks?
No, I'm saying for 1,500 or 2,000.
No, not at all. To me, I couldn't see it unless it was one of those things where you were in the position, you had the money, and really money wasn't like a thing. You know what I mean? For those of us that kind of cut corners to save money here and there, yeah, I couldn't fathom buying a cabinet for $2,000 to store blow molded cases, but 200 bucks sounds pretty reasonable for that. I mean, I spent $64 to transport all my tools on that Husky tote that I'll just end up storing more shit in, and I'll probably forget that I even have it.
Huh.
But I'm taking the hutch apart because I don't have anywhere to put it here at the house. None of the toolboxes that I have here at the house, that hutch will not fit on either one. It's just too big because I bought the Cornwall 57-inch. So I'm going to tear it apart, and I'm going to use the pieces of metal to turn it into a welding table. And my former employer, my boss, Mike from Ron's Automotive, he's actually going to be building a guest bathroom, and requested, he goes, well, if you don't have anything to immediately do with those license plates, I think it'd be really cool to hang them up in the guest bathroom. And I want to do like a wall shrine of license plates. And if you don't mind, that'd be really cool for you to help out with that. And I was like, that'd be fucking dope. At least every time I go there and hang out with the guys or whatever, we'll be able to see the bathroom when it's all a finished product, you know, and get the welding table. I'm not going to get rid of all the license plates. Some of them are really cool and they have some sentimental value to me. Like Anthony gave me one from New Jersey. It was the first one from New Jersey. Gave me a shout out video and everything. I'm going to hang on to his plate just because I thought that was really cool. It was one of the first people that ever mailed me their license plate and did a shout out video all in the same time. So their Hard Knocks' license plate I'll keep. I'll probably use it for my welding table. I'll incorporate it in that somehow. So there are certain plates that have real like meaning. Other plates I'm not sure because people just sent them to me in conglomerations. There were some that I got like 5 and 6 at a time with that were from different states. And I was like, oh, okay. And I don't really remember that subscriber too well. Like some subscribers, they stick in your head, and other ones, they're kind of like, they're there, and it's nice they did that for you, but they're, I don't know. You know what I mean? You lose track of some of the subs. Oh, yeah, I still got Rich's plate. Rich's plate's here on the Jeep Shrine. Same with Jeff Kennedy and Jay Young, and I got Justin the Snap-on Tool Junkie. Sorry. And I got Colden Customs license plate on here too. So I've got a collection of plates that I remember names to that I keep.
Yeah, everybody let me know. I adjusted my sound level, so let me know if that's doing okay. They said they were getting feedback. I think they're getting feedback through your speaker.
Oh, okay. I did mute the
okay
video.
Yeah, no problem. Chuck's asking. People are asking what we're talking about right now. We're just kind of chatting, but I've got a few kind of leading questions, and we'll have conversations based off of that. We'll address the stuff that.
Let me grab a Frosty real quick.
Yeah,
kind of running out here.
I'll explain that. I mean, we're going to kind of follow the same format as most of the time. I know a lot of people want to know about the Technicians of Tomorrow stuff, but I don't want the chat to be only about that. But yeah, we are going to talk about that, and I think enough time has passed since kind of blow up incident, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, there was during that time frame, I thought 2 weeks would have been enough time. I was in the mood where I really just wanted to kind of quit YouTube and be done with it altogether. It took me a lot of time, and it brought me into a realization that a lot of these people that I see on a day-to-day basis, whether they're, you know, in virtual land or not, I see all these people, I know these people socially, and it's a community that I just couldn't keep myself away from. So I tried different things. I tried doing different channel. I wasn't sure that I was prepared to like come back to YouTube. I still thought I wanted to kind of quit YouTube and be done with it altogether. But the more I wanted to quit, the more that I wanted to be involved. And I don't know if any of that makes sense, but I ended up coming back, and it's a slow comeback, but you know, we can only do so much. I've only got so much content that I can share. I don't want to reshare a lot of the old videos because that was back in the past, and I'm trying to like bring on the future videos. I do have some videos saved that I have on a hard drive that I keep, you know, in the wall locker over there. And it's nice to go back and see like the 1 million view giveaway with Carlos and things like that. It's cool, you know. I don't want to get rid of the footage. I'm going to keep the footage to watch on my own, but I'm you know, probably not going to ever reshare it. It's one of those things that's kind of come and gone, and hopefully we'll just develop new content here in the future. And yeah, it's pretty much my take on that.
You might say that you're trying to take it to a whole new level.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, hey, Keith, what's up? Also, I want to say, while I'm thinking of it, I talked to both Frankie M and Drew's Autos today.
Oh, good.
And Drew's wanted everybody. I told him I was going to live stream. Drew's is like super, super busy. I think you guys, some of you know, he lost his job several weeks ago. He's got a new job. He's relocated, and he's just really, really busy. And he'll get back. He's getting back into the swing of things right now.
I think he's down here in my neck of the woods too, if I'm not mistaken. We talked on the phone,
Yeah.
I want to say about 2 weeks back, and he said we should do a meet and greet at some point just to kind of hang out, even just shoot the shit. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be on camera, just kind of hang out and whatnot. I thought that'd be really cool.
Yeah, well, I actually talked to Frankie M after I talked to Drew's, and he basically he wanted to get a hold of Frankie M too. So I think he's pretty close to where Frankie M is. So he was talking about getting together. So I kind of connected them.
Frankie M hooked it up during the Universal Studio trip. He came through, and we had a front of the line deal, and we talked for a while, and he gave us discounts because he had an all-season platinum pass and shit. So it was really cool when the kids wanted to buy souvenir sweatshirts and things like that. It did get kind of cold that night. From those of us that are used to 100 and some odd degree heat, and then it dropping down into the like low 70s, high 60s. I mean, that it gets you, your blood just all of a sudden goes, whoa, what happened?
Yeah. Bob's telling me to pick that booger. Bob, Keith does the same thing to me. And I'm telling you, there would be nothing would make me happier than if I could dig in there and actually find a booger. It's not a booger though. It's nose hair. Okay. See, it's, I'm telling you, it's, I'm sorry to disappoint you, Bob. Also, Drew's is going to send you that thing. That's actually the reason he called me. He called me the other day, and he said, "Hey, you know, I've been kind of trying to prioritize finances." And anyway, Bob. Long story short, he's going to send you, you know what, early next week.
It's cocaine.
It's cocaine. Listen, folks. Hugs, not drugs. Okay, MD Lee 52.
Gonna fly a plane to him.
I have always always said no to drugs. Always been clean. Wouldn't know it by looking at me, honestly, kind of a health nut. Just saying.
I'm definitely not a health nut, and I definitely have been through my mischief in my earlier years.
Yeah, I'm drug free, smoke free, alcohol free. I'm high on life, man. I'm telling you what. We're talking Jack LaLanne juice. Your dad's your dad comes in first
Hey,
time
there's
in the
my dad.
stream, comes
How's it
in with a
going?
zinger. Oh, all right. I don't want to tip it down. See, I get comments like this from people who haven't been in here before. Hey, why don't you sit up? Why don't you stand up? Why don't no? Look, if you can last through this, I know you're a good sub, or you're a troll. Conversely, I get excellent numbers out of this thing and excellent engagement, and the only reason I do it is I do it my way. But your dad makes a good point. What's up, Dal Senior? Good to see you. Rusted and trusted pillar, yeah, pillar of fitness. That's what. All right. Well, why don't you? I'll kind of give a brief historical synopsis here, a little trip back in time, if you will, to about June of 2014, May or June of 2014, when I first found Justin Dow. I found Justin Dow on YouTube right around the same time that I found Eric the Car Guy and Scotty Kilmer.
Oh, no
And
shit.
yeah,
Found us all at the same time.
I found all three of you guys at the same time, and you had something on there for Chryslers or some such a thing. So uh, that's when I subscribed to you, and you started World of Mopar. I don't know how long after that, but you put an announcement on your main channel, on the Justin Dow channel, about World of Mopar. So I subscribed. I got in on the ground floor of that, and then eventually, let's see. I think I subscribed to Bruce Allen about a year after I subscribed to you. So I've been subscribed to Bruce for about 2 years. I found
Nice.
this guy that was painting motorcycle tanks, showing how to paint motorcycle tanks. I thought, that's interesting. Maybe that guy will post more videos. And eventually, about a year ago, a little over a year ago in May, I subscribed to Jay Young because I saw some toolbox videos that he did, and I found those interesting. So that was kind of my lead into the whole big six thing. And then eventually, when Junkie started his channel, I think I caught him after his third video and subscribed to him. Garnett, I got in pretty early on. Joel, I think, only had a handful of videos when I subscribed to him. But talk about how you started your channel, the various stuff. I know you have a history with your channel. You've taken your first channel. You had a lot of videos. You ended up taking some down at some point. But just talk about how you started out on YouTube and how it progressed from then till now.
At the time, I just got done fighting a really bad case of pneumonia, and I didn't know that I had it, and it was a mixture of pneumonia and tonsillitis, actually, and I lost like 28 pounds in a month. And Heather got concerned, and we went to the Veterans Hospital. I wasn't working at the time. I had no job. And as I started to heal up, I was watching a lot of YouTube. And as I was watching YouTube, I learned of the Scotty Kilmer channel, the Eric O channel. I learned of Eric the Car Guy, Scanner Danner, Bleep and Jeep. And I started to fall in love with the Bleep and Jeep channel, to be honest. And I started watching a lot of it. We had a Chevy pickup that was I was always having to do repairs to it. And so I traded it straight across for a Jeep. And the Jeep had some issues that it needed work on. And I got tired of watching I'd watch like 6 to 7 videos to find one answer. It would take me 6 to 7 videos to find one answer. And I was like, what if I could do a video? And I didn't know about YouTube and how it worked. I had no idea what monetization was. None of this stuff. I learned all that stuff from the Big Six. I had no idea what any of this shit was. I was like, but what if I could take one video, do a video on how to do something, and incorporate all 6 of those videos into one, and then post it, and then that would be a better video, and maybe somebody would actually get all the information they needed out of it, rather than having to skirt around the block and try to figure this all out in 6 different videos. So as I was jobless, I started making videos on the Jeep. Well, the videos in the Jeep kind of sparked something in me, and I wanted to kind of.
Let me just cut you off here for a timeline. Which jobs were you in between? What job had you left, and what job
I
was
had just gotten, well, I quit / got fired at the same exact time. Um, the Ford dealer. So I was at the Ford dealer for 4 months. When I moved down here, I got hired by the Ford dealership, and I had the job for 4 months. A service writer didn't really like me, and so when I was on a leave of absence, or my vacation time rather, I took a break, went to help a buddy move, and when I got back, they were telling me that I was suspended for a week. And they weren't paying me to have my tools or my toolbox there, and said it could all be done with the tools they provided. So I basically gave them the middle finger, grabbed my toolbox, took it to storage, took my 1 week suspension, came back, said, okay, I'm ready to work. They said, we thought you quit. I said, fuck, I didn't quit. I said, you said I could do all this with the tools that you have to provide. So I'm here to work with the tools that you have to provide. You don't get the luxury of me having my tools or my toolbox here anymore. They said, no, it's just not going to work out. And I said, that's fine. I'm out of here. I shook hands and I left. And then that was pretty much the last job that I had. I went, I think I want to say like 6 months without a job. And then after I got better and I started doing all these videos on YouTube, I actually picked up a job at Hills Towing and was a tow truck driver for about 8 or 9 months while I was doing all these videos and stuff.
Which that's a local company to you, right?
Yeah, it's a local company to me. Okay. It's a AAA affiliated company, so I actually towed cars for AAA. I
subscribed to a guy out of Long Beach, Washington, who's named George Hill Towing. So I thought, okay, never mind. Go ahead.
So with the towing company, I realized I was doing these videos and I was doing stuff with a tow truck company, and we would work on cars sometimes in the shop. So I was like, you know, the hours are too long. I would no more than get home in the tow truck, and I'd get, hey, we got a call out on Amboy Road. It'd be like a 45-minute drive. So I'd start cruising out to this spot to go undo somebody's lock, and they would call me halfway out there, and they would turn around and say, hey, man, that call canceled. You can go back to the house or whatever. So I was getting tired of the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, you know, shit with the AAA. So eventually I decided that I wanted something that was more structured, that had a timeline where I was done in the evening, I could relax and I could go to bed. So I applied at the Chrysler dealership. I dropped in for like the 3rd time in that period, and I asked if they were hiring, and it just so happens that they were hiring. And that's when I applied, and I got the job almost immediately.
When you got that job, just out of curiosity, how much training did they do, like Chrysler specific training right off the bat?
0. I started at $10 an hour, and I didn't see a Chrysler training course for over a year.
What did they have you doing right off the bat?
Within the first month, I was doing just oil changes, flushes. They were feeling me out. I kept telling them I had my own tools. I got my own toolbox, this, that, and the other. They didn't want me to have it there, and because of that, I was slower. Because all they had was the little tiny, I guess it's not tiny to some people, but it was a 300-piece Harbor Freight toolkit.
The classic 301-piece Harbor Freight set.
That was what they had, and they're like, "This is, you can do anything and everything with this." And I was like, "Ha!"
That's. Hey, I got to call you on that. That's actually true.
Well,
people don't know this, but that's actually the one they take with them in the space shuttle. Like if they go work on the Hubble telescope, they take that 301-piece kit because it's got everything in it.
I just couldn't do it. I was working and I was trying to get shit done, and the sockets, the fitment didn't feel right. The ratchets, I wasn't a fan of the ratchets. Everything was backwards to me. So I started off by sneaking in my own ratchet, and they kind of turned a blind eye to that. And I was like, okay, cool. At least I have my own fucking ratchet, which was the Matco one.
So you're smuggling in a bag of Coke or something.
Yeah, that was what it felt like. So I actually had to sit down with the boss within that first month, and I said, look, I had to do this at Ford too. I really don't care. I'm here to stay. give me some kind of paperwork where I can sign off saying, I promise that I won't sue you guys. Just let me have my own tools here. So they finally agreed to that. And so I brought in a Harbor Freight $100 service card because I had to sell my toolbox for hard times. And that nobody knew the wiser. They didn't know. I had all these tools at the house, but I brought in what I could do. And because I was doing more and more with the tools that I had, I mean, I had that thing fully fucking loaded. It was loaded to the till. Because I was able to do so much, they gave me an engine job within that month. Because I successfully completed that engine job, they put me on another engine job, and they raised my pay from $10 an hour to $13. And then I was at 13 for 2 or 3 months, and then they bumped it to 18. So they had to bump it to 18 because somebody did sue them over that whole thing. And because they were under the same exact curtain, they got mad and tried to sue the company. Well, they lost their job. I kept mine, and I got a pay raise.
Wow. Okay. So
their lawsuit actually helped me.
So dovetail this into the timeline, what kind of videos you were shooting during this time, kind of dovetail the whole YouTube thing in with the rest of life.
With the YouTube thing, I took like a month or 2 off, and when I would come back to doing my video, I got the response of like, hey, where you been for the last month or 2? And I didn't put anything towards that. I was like, oh, busy, work, etc. Like, I never really thought of it because I didn't know anybody socially. I didn't do live streams. I just did videos. I'm like, the fuck do these guys care if I'm gone for a month or 2? It's fucking YouTube, right?
Well, and I got to say, so 61006, never forget that. I was pretty big in Second Amendment YouTube. Definitely a heavy contributor in chiropractic YouTube. Automotive YouTube, I always felt kind of a little bit, dare I say it, starved for content.
Right.
And Flat Rate Master said earlier on that he was subscribed to you for a while.
Yeah, I've been doing it for 5 years now.
Right. So you were one of the people that were cranking out content. So we would kind of be on edge. I would think, oh, yeah, I wonder, I would check periodically. I would think, I haven't seen any videos from that guy in a while. So I would go to your channel and look, and not just depend on my subscription list. I would like come to your channel and look, and then that's how I ended up watching a bunch of your older videos, stuff that you took down. Oh, you told me
I took down a handful of those videos because they had no traction. And I guess this was after I started learning all this stuff from the Big Six about Social Blade, monetization, things like that. Some of the videos that I had up for like 4 years had less than like 400 views. I was like, well, it's not helping anybody, and I've got more thumbs downs than I got thumbs up, so fuck it. It doesn't need to be on there. And so I started cleaning up my channel and getting rid of all the shit videos. That's kind of what I did.
Well, I watched a lot of those ones, so if they all had like 400 views, probably at least 3 or 4 of those views were mine, because I would work my way back.
That. Yeah, it's so hard for me to tell if a video is shit until it's been like a period of time is spanned out, and you're like, okay, well, I got like 30 thumbs downs and like 10 thumbs ups, and I've only had like 200 views, and all my other videos had like 1,500, 2,000, 10,000, 30. I had one video that had like 75,000 views on it, and it was for a Jeep Patriot review. I had no idea that video was going to gain that much traction, but people loved it. And fuck, if that video didn't just keep ringing in the views. And I thought it didn't come out all that great, but I left it, and holy crap, that was probably my #1 video. That video alone probably pulled pretty close to 100,000 views by the time I deleted my channel.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
What made you initially start World of Mopar?
Okay, so here's the story behind World of Mopar. I started World of Mopar my first year at the Chrysler dealership. And the thought process, I was trying to get on track. I wanted to put together something that had some views, that had some traction, and that pertained strictly to the Chrysler tech. So I posted stuff about Dealer Connect, how to like navigate your way through that, I wanted to do in-depth videos like with the DVOMs, not like Scanner Danner or like Eric the Car Guy or anything like that, but I wanted to make my own spin on it and do tool reviews that were pertinent to the Chrysler technician on how to use certain things. I wanted to talk more about scopes and scan tools. I wanted to do more with Chrysler how-to videos. So I had a transmission rebuild video that I tried to do. There was an oil pump or transmission pump, oil pump that I had to put in, and that was part of a recall. So I did that, an airbag recall, some wiring recalls. And I was like, cool, this is an R25, this is an R64, this is an R72. And I started putting them in, and I was like, cool, okay, so now I've got about a half a dozen to a dozen videos that are all recall related. How many cars were affected, what year, makes, models were affected, the whole works. It was like the beautiful setup to a beautiful channel. It would have been the fucking bee's knees. And I brought it to the general manager, and I said, hey, I've got a lot of technicians out in that shop that keep coming up to me, asking me questions, how to do this recall, how to do that recall. I'm kind of getting a little bit annoyed because I'm getting hassled by the foreman and the service manager about my hours sliding a little bit, but yet you guys have me all over the shop helping out all the new guys that just came from Walmart, and I'm having to show them how to do these recalls. I've made it easier. I've created a YouTube channel specifically for all this. What do you think? Tell me your thoughts. Like, I thought I was going to get some good backing. I guess I was really proud. I was so proud of this channel. I thought I would get the backing from the dealership. And they basically gave me the fuck you, take it down or you're fired kind of pitch. And they're like, I was like, okay. It's like, we can't tell you that you're fired if you take it down. Clearly, we can't tell you to take it down. We can tell you that this isn't going to end well for you if you don't. So you need to rethink.
We're not going to tell you you got to leave, but you can't stay here.
Right. So I was like, okay, duly noted. So I deleted everything that had to do with Yucca Valley Chrysler. I deleted all the videos that had to do with Chrysler recalls. And I left up a small handful of videos that were done at the house. They had nothing to do with the company name in the backdrop. There was nothing on any customer's car. I was like, okay, I've got to be safe at this point. And nobody said anything to me at work. So I took that as me being safe, and I ran with that for like another year. And then eventually I decided to end that channel too. I didn't like the direction it was going in, but because I didn't like the direction it was going in because that was not what that channel was intended for. I did not want that channel to be a Justin Dow channel. I wanted it to be something special, something unique, and it wasn't. It just was like, it was disappointing to me. I never got it to the level that I wanted it to.
I'm going to kind of jump ahead here a little bit, but ask this question while it's in a logical spot here. So when you tried to monetize the Justin Dow channel and that didn't all work out, and then they put you on basically kind of a hiatus there for a month, more or less.
Oh, that was when I tried to make it a paid channel.
Okay, right. But when I never understood why you didn't just go back to that channel after that month was over, go in and redo the settings, because during that time you were still getting income off of that channel, right? Even after you switched everything over to World of Mopar, you told me that as far as dollars and cents were concerned, you still a month or two after that were getting twice as much off of that channel as you were off of World of Mopar.
Yeah, World of Mopar hadn't even gotten to the level that the Justin Dow channel was at. I was still at like the $80, hoping to hit the $100 threshold kind of thing. The Justin Dow channel, so before I tried to make it a paid channel, I was averaging about $250 to $350 a month. As soon as I hit paid content, now let me put this in there real quick before I forget it. I didn't know that paid content would make every single video a paid video. I thought when it said enable paid content that I could make like one really bitchin' video and just charge for that one video, and I could be selective about it. So I thought, well, if I charge like $1 or $5 for this one how-to video, then I can do how-to videos on the Justin Dow channel, and maybe I can earn a little bit of extra revenue. Kind of like a Patreon, but without being on Patreon. So I was like, that would work. That would be cool. So I
Did you
hit
do
paid
that just
content.
because you thought that that would be simpler than trying to start a Patreon?
Yeah, I thought it was like it was just already there. It was all set up. So when I hit the go button, it did it to all my videos, the entire channel, and I was like, "Oh my fucking god!" So now what do I do? So I was like, "Well, I'll wait it out for a month." I went to try to revert it. A month later, it was sitting in the same exact spot. It wouldn't. It would unsubscribe people. It wasn't allowing people to subscribe. It showed that I wasn't available in this country. Yes, I was still gaining revenue off that. I was making at that point in time after the month, the following month I made 150 bucks, and then it went down to $100, and then it went up to like $180, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm picking traction back up, and then it dropped back down to about $112 was my last check that I received from them before I said fuck it and I deleted it. I got pissed off because I was like, well, it was 250 to 350 bucks every single month, and that money was helping me to buy like new camera equipment, new fucking webcams and shit. And I was like trying to boost the content with using some of that, buying tools off the tool trucks with it. And I was like, fuck. And it was all gone. So I was like, now what?
So when you hit the button, and take this the right way, don't
Yeah.
don't take it too seriously, but just take it lightheartedly like I intend it. But when you hit the button on that channel that moved it over to paid, how drunk were you?
Oh, dude, I was fucking pretty inebriated. I was pretty inebriated. I was like, this sounds like a great fucking idea. My eyes deceive me. This says that I can choose what videos are paid and which ones are free. This is fucking awesome. And I fucking hit it, dude.
You got about 6 beers in and started looking at that screen.
Oh, dude, I was fucking staring at it, dude. I was out there in the fishing hut going, what it was like listening
I'm
to
sitting
the
on a
harmonica.
gold mine out here, ladies and
Right,
gentlemen.
like, I was
I
like-
never knew.
I'm sitting here listening to angels play the fucking harp and shit, and I'm like, this is it. This is the next level. This is the next step. No one's tried this yet. That did not work out well.
Well, that's kind of my I'm going to have that basically a couple variations on that same question a little bit later on. So I'm glad you're not taking it the wrong way or
No, I'm everything's lighthearted. Like I said, I feel like I screwed up my own channel, so really I'm the only one to blame for the whole thing. There's no one to point fingers out here except for me. You know, I'm the one that was pushing buttons when he probably shouldn't have been, and doing it during the wrong time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I had theories on that all along, kind of reading between the lines. I've had people ask me stuff, and I think, man, am I really? I don't think I'm really that perceptive, but I do pay pretty close attention. I do have.
Oh yeah.
I have a really good memory for rather obscure details and things that other people don't pick up on. Don't ask me what I did today, but if you ask me what I did like 7 years ago on Thursday, you know, I could probably tell you about everything it was, but don't ask me what I was doing 4 hours ago. Okay, so talk about Carlos, and because that's really what TOT kind of built out of. So talk about Carlos, kind of give us an update on him and describe your relationship with him and how you filmed that first video with him.
Carlos and I still talk from time to time. It's not like it was when you worked there. When you work with somebody, you see each other every single day. Now it's more like once every other week, maybe once a month kind of a phone call where I'm just like, hey, how's things going? How they treating you, kind of a deal. But when I met Carlos for the first time just before I started at Chrysler. I was actually went to an independent shop first, and it was called Evans Automotive. And I was working there with him that day. It was a one-day trial. I was supposed to start work at Chrysler the very next day, but I did not want to tell Chrysler that I had another job opportunity lined up as well on the offset chance something didn't go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, well, let's try both before we, make our decision. So at this point, I was leaving Hills Towing. I met Carlos towing him back to this shop. And he said, you should really work with us. It'd be great. It'd be great to have you. It doesn't seem like you're happy here. We got plenty of work, this, that, and the other. So I get there to the shop, and the whole time between him and the other guy, they're trying to sound enthused. And as soon as the boss left, I asked them, I was like, okay, what's up? What's the give here? They're like, well, I haven't gotten paid in like 5 weeks, and I'm starting to stress out a little bit about money, so I'm trying to get all these jobs banged out to make money. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean you haven't been paid in 5 weeks? And he's like, well, the boss man's been really tied up. We have jobs that haven't left yet, and we can't get paid until he gets paid, and he hasn't gotten paid for the jobs that haven't left yet.
So they were like the automotive Habitat for Humanity.
I know, I was like, what
volunteering
the
their
fuck?
time.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, no. And I was like, all right, whatever, I'm here to wrench, so let's see if I can get into it. He's like, bring your toolbox down. I'm like, no. Let me wrench with what you got there, and we'll just go from here, and we'll see how it plays out. So I start wrenching. The guy's got like hit and miss, Craftsman, hit and miss, Harbor Freight, but he's got some Snap-on diagnostic equipment. Like he had the Vantage Pro, and he had the Veris, the first one. And I was like, okay, maybe it's not a complete shade tree shop, you know. I start going for it. They're trying to pull a transmission out of this Toyota. I'm like, all right, cool, let's do this. And I'm like, we needed a 12-point. And I remember this because I needed it on another car that I already had experience with Toyota. I was like, you need a 12-point 30-millimeter socket. I've got it at the house. I'm not driving all the way home to go get it. Where's the socket? They didn't have it. And I was like, well, we can't take the fucking CV axle out. Yeah. Can't take the CV axle out without it.
Yeah.
Like, well, just find something in the shop. And this gave me free reign to look through all of his tools. This guy had tools that were beat up, rusty, and banged to shit. And I was like, man, I am not working here. I drank some soda, watched YouTube while he was gone. He came back. I was like, you know, it's just not going to work out. I'll see you guys later. And that was the first time that I ever met Carlos. And he was like, you're leaving, sir? And I'm like, yep, I'm out of here, bro. Good luck to you. I found Carlos again at the Valero gas station filling up a year later. And I seen him and I said, you still working at Evans Automotive? And he said, no, sir.
You saw him a year later and you asked, hey, did you ever get that axle nut socket?
So I asked him about that, and he goes, I asked him about the pay thing, and he goes, no, sir, he screwed me over out of about 2 months worth of pay. And I ended up getting, I think he said he got like most of it back, but it took him like an extra couple of months to get it to him. He left. He finally got his money back. But I guess they stole the top part of his toolbox, which was like a piece of wood, that wood thing that goes on top of the Huskies. So when he got back to his toolbox, the wood piece was gone, but his toolbox was still there. And I was like, well, at least they left you your toolbox. Shit, I don't know.
Was it like a 4x4? He was probably trying to carve himself an axle nut.
It's just like these wood pieces. It's on the top of either one of these toolboxes. They took it off, and fuck, that just seems so trivial. Why would you steal the wood top off of somebody's box? But at any rate, he was working for Discount Tire Center, and I was like, you know, Yucca Valley Chrysler's always hiring, and they're starting to pay all their techs tech minimum. What's tech minimum? I said, it's twice minimum wage. If you want to get in on it, just apply. They accept pretty much everybody. They got people that they just hired from Walmart. We still need like 2 or 3 more guys. Well, it took him about 6 more months before he finally applied and got the job. And it was like, he's like, hey, what's up, man? You know, and it was like no big deal. So Carlos and I got a chance to talk. I got a chance to show him around, show him a few things in the shop. I actually showed him where everything was in the shop. At that time, it was me and one other guy were the only oldest guys in the shop, because all the other guys, the senior guys, either got fired or quit. So we were like the 2 senior guys, and we'd only been there for a year and a half. That's pretty sad, but that's the way reality was. So I showed him around, took him under the wing, that kind of thing, and I started bringing him onto YouTube. I was like, hey, I want to do a video with you, talk about some stuff, et cetera, et cetera. Are you cool with being on camera? And he's like, yeah, totally cool. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I thought at that point I'd introduce some of the coworkers that I worked with, like Jake and Carlos. And I would have introduced Tyler, but he almost broke everything that came in there. So, you know. Not the same Tyler you guys know. Tyler Brown is cool as shit. That guy can fucking fix anything. I think he can fix anything. I've known him only 4 months. But the kid has never turned down a job, and he's always made things run on the way out the door, and they haven't come back. So completely different Tyler. This other Tyler, he was fucking shit up. He almost destroyed an $80,000 fucking Dodge Ram on a lift. It almost flipped over onto its fucking ass. It almost went ass over elbows. I was like, oh my God, doing a small recall.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. So Carlos and I, we went back pretty far, all the way to my towing days. And so that's a friendship that'll never die. I'll always have his telephone number. We'll always stay in touch. It's just not like a deep friendship like the kind that you built with kids that you went to like grade school or high school with. So it's a different type of friendship. It's an employee type of friendship.
Okay. Well, set the table for us here a little bit as far as the video that you did with him, because I know I saw that video, and that's when I sent him those six-piece flare nut wrench set, and it was kind of after that that kind of led into TOT a little bit. So describe that, how that all went down.
To me, when I gave Carlos and Jake the tools that people sent to them to help them out, it, like, I don't know, say that my heart grew like twice as big as it was. But at that point, I was like, wow. All I did was share a couple of stories and introduce a few people that were a little bit down on their luck, that were picking themselves up out of the dirt, wasn't asking for help, wasn't asking for anything, and guys just wanted to give. And to give to them from the subs and say, hey, this is all from the subs. Don't thank me, thank them, because they're the ones that did it. And to see their faces light up just brought, it was like my brain just clicked, and I was like, I want to do something bigger than this. This is pretty cool. This was big, but I want to do something fucking bigger. I want to fucking try to do this on a bigger level. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I got to figure this out. This was fucking cool, because that excitement, that just seeing the face, the looks on his face and everything else was just like, that's what this is about. That's what I've been missing from YouTube. That's what, like, I should be doing right now, is to try to help others out to get on their feet. Outside of just sharing knowledge and things about tools that I picked up, it was about giving back. And I was like, well, I'm getting like all this free monies from this fucking, just from hanging out on YouTube. I can fucking give back to the community too. So I can fucking buy nice tools, and we can do things on the fucking internet with that, between these raffles and giveaways. And then I can fucking set up some kind of event, and maybe everyone wants to join on that. We can fucking give shit to all these college kids. I started talking to Carlos about it, and I was like, dude, this would be epic. Can we get everyone, like, from your class, at least your classroom, to like show up to this thing? So that's kind of like how that all built up from that, was just from seeing the look on his face and seeing how appreciative he was. That really made you as a person want to do more. I don't know, not necessarily for society, but for other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do totally. I mean, it feels good to do volunteer work and benefits and things of that nature. I've done a fair amount of that in my life, and it's always been a rewarding experience. Did you have a dream, like a literal dream, at some point about that?
It was more daydreaming. I wasn't necessarily dreaming about it in the night, but I had a lot of daydreams about it. Like watching Carlos, watching Jake, seeing how their expressions change when they got these gifts.
I got a. Was this like you standing on the other side of a lift,
smoking,
kind of hiding yourself from them, peeking around the lift, looking at Carla? I'm getting kind of a weird mental picture.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that video that I did where I was outside in the smoking area? And I just pulled up my phone, and I'm like, I'm going to film it right now, because he had just got done walking in there. And I pulled my camera up without him knowing, and I tried to zoom in on it. And he was like, look what they gave me, Mr. Sir. Look what they gave me. It's like my fucking birthday. It's fucking Christmas, man. And I'm like, yeah, dude, yes. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That was appreciation at its fucking finest.
So, so that was kind of the genesis of Technicians of Tomorrow then.
Yeah.
Just built out of a desire to help people out who you've been in that situation before, and Carlos was in that situation, and you see how much of a direct impact it has, and that was kind of the
to go from being like divorced, to deathly ill to selling my shit to fucking keep an income coming in during that 6 to 7 months that I was unemployed. It was just one of those things where to get it all back took me that entire year and a half to get back all this like shit, all this materialistic shit. And yes, some of it had monetary value, some of it had sentimental value behind it, but it was just materialistic shit. But it's seeing those that are struggling and giving them something and watching them grow. And they always keep that. I've still got tools that people gave me, you know, that I've had for years. I've got an old Armstrong crescent wrench that someone gave me at the shipyard. I still use that fucking thing. It's my go-to. It never goes to work, but it's always here at the house.
Yeah, so you kind of had a dream to be like a low-key automotive YouTube Sally Struthers type of a deal.
More or less. I just wanted to I wanted that reaction for more people.
Yeah. Did you have a plan? This is
not really. I'm not the plan.
I was gonna say I'm trying not to make this a loaded question, but
yeah, no, I'm not really the planning type. What my plan was this. I tell Carlos.
Let me cut you off just for a second. I'll say this.
All right.
I think you've kind of done yourself some favors in the last 5 or 6 or 7 weeks with talking about your personality and your own live streams, and talk about being more of a spur of the moment, impulsive, whatever you want to call it, because I don't know that everybody picks up on that. So go ahead.
So, like, I guess my plan, which is not really a good plan, but this was the extent of my planning. Hey, Carlos, I want to put on an event to do this stuff for the kids for the college, and I got all these tools that everyone mailed me to give to these kids at the college. And maybe it'd be really cool if I could like give you like a flyer or something and you can hang it up, and or you could tell people about it now, and then I'll make these flyers and you can put it up in your classroom or whatever, and we'll do it like on a weekend or some shit, like on a Saturday. And he's like, okay. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I was like, okay, now I'll tell YouTube. And then I was like, cool. All right, YouTube knows, Carlos knows, we're good to go. That was the extent of my planning. The people that I had are like, we want to do meetups too. I had like a half a dozen, I'd say between 6 and 8 people that said they were going to come. And at this point, I give out my personal telephone number.
Oh boy.
Of those 6 to 8 people that said they were going to come that lived in the neighboring area somewhere or the other, only 2 actually showed up. They made Carlos work on a Saturday, the Saturday that they all knew, the entire shop knew, because I put the flyer up in the shop because I wanted them to come too. They all knew. And this was the time that I quit and I went to the independent shop. Probably poor timing on my part. Well, they made him work on Saturday. And he told me when he came out during his lunchtime, he was only supposed to have a half an hour off, but they gave him an hour to go hang out at the event for the barbecue. Well, he told me that the kids at the college, they had to go to college for some kind of fucking lab thing that they had to do. They had a lab day, and everybody had to be there so nobody could come. Go figure, it was the same day Red Cross was doing a blood drive too, so nobody knew where to find the fucking place.
What was the let's take kind of a sidetrack here. And what was that Pathfinders program?
Oh, the Pathways program.
Okay.
Now, when I was looking for a new job in an independent shop, I went to Ultimate Motors, and Adam Spitz, who owns Ultimate Motors, told me about this program called the Pathways program. I'd never actually talked to any college instructor. He told me about this Pathways program, and he said it should be put on in like 2 to 3 weeks. So my plan was to get everything together within the 2 to 3 weeks and maybe piggyback off of that. But when I asked him about it further, he said he hasn't gotten back to me. He'll have him give me a call. And he took my cell phone number down. I never got a phone call or anything else, and I'm like, well, then we'll just do it on our own. Fuck it. You know?
But what was the Pathways program about? What was it for? Just give me
the Pathways program is so that way, like, they take kids from high school and they bring them to the college and they introduce them to like the world of automotive by showing them all the equipment and the tools on the inside, and the classroom setups, and they talk about like what they can expect when they go to college. It's to try to get the kids involved in thinking about forward learning So that way that they had an idea of what they could do when they get out of high school, because not a lot of high schoolers know what they can do when they get out. They're just like, well, what am I supposed to do? Work at McDonald's? Do I go to college? I don't know what to go to college for. Some people are like, well, my dad works on cars. Maybe I could work on cars. So they take those kids that are in the little automotive program at the high school and they bring them over to the college and they try to show them the whole new world that's automotive at the college and get them excited by looking at all the college students' toolboxes and the bays and watch them turn wrenches. It's really just kind of like a what do you call it? A fair. It's kind of like a fair.
Yeah, they're transitioning them from their education into a career. It's basically a transitionary program.
And I thought it would be really cool to introduce like a barbecue and some tool giveaways and raffles at the college while they were doing that.
Yeah. No, it was solid reasoning. I just wasn't sure if they already had some kind of a donation component or something like that. Because I'll say this, and this is probably one of the basic premises of my, probably like a big part of the foundation of my belief on this. Nonprofit work can be really, really tricky from what I've seen. And one of the most important things is to know what your mission is. And usually, if you have an idea for a nonprofit, somebody else has already had that idea. They've already made it a reality, and you're probably better off, just generally speaking about anything here, you're probably better off getting behind their program than you are starting your own. That's kind of my somewhat cynical view of it. So like when you came up with this idea, my initial reaction to it was, wow, that's a really good idea. I wonder who has already done this before. I wonder what other programs are out there, because the way I look at it, I think, well, if I'm going to put money on this, I want it to be a 501c3 nonprofit. I want to be able to write this off on my taxes. I want everything to already be set up, because I think somebody's probably already done it. They probably already refined the process, and we would probably be better served to go that direction. But when the more you talked about it, it seemed like you were trying to have the maximum impact at a local level. You're there in Yucca Valley, California.
Yeah.
So you wanted to impact the area around you, be the change that you want to see in the local community. And I thought, well, yeah, that totally makes sense. I totally get that. You wanted to be hands-on with it. But when you brought up that Pathways program, I thought kind of all along, how could you work more closely with them? How could you partner with them? Are they a nonprofit? Do they already have some kind of a component in their program for this? Do they have some?
Yeah, it's a complete nonprofit program. And because it's pretty much career shadowing or fair-like shadowing, there's nothing really to give. They don't give anything. They don't receive anything. They just show the kids what they could do when they go to college. It was kind of like when we were in high school. I don't know if you remember, the recruiters from the military would come by, and if you were in the ROTC program at all, they would have you go to the base, the military base, and you can go through the obstacle course and all this other shit. And it kind of was supposed to motivate you to want to join the military and see them blow shit up and whatnot. So that's kind of what I took this Pathways program as, is a way for them to be able to introduce that. And if there was any way I could have made it to where I could have worked with them side by side, I totally would have. But I never got that phone call. And I think that I should have gone to the college and tried to talk to the college professor. But the hardest part about that is that I worked Monday through Friday and sometimes on Saturdays. So that made it very difficult to try to figure out some kind of time frame to meet them, because they were only during the week.
Right. Well, that isn't the. Yeah, it makes sense.
That was my thought process.
Yeah. What was Jay Young's involvement, or what was his involvement going to be?
I'll tell you in 1 second. Let me grab another beverage here.
Yeah, sure thing. Dow Senior says the problem with quote nonprofit is that a lot of the time people are skimming and pocketing money from it, so most people no longer believe in nonprofit drives. Well, that's a lot of the incredulous looks from the outside looking in that Justin was dealing with, quite honestly, because people were looking at money and product coming in and some money and product going out, but there were questions about where was where was the money getting put.
Okay, I can answer that. So before, well, we'll answer the Jay Young question
Yeah,
after we
yeah.
got to touch base on this. When I was doing TOT, there was no money per se coming in, just tools. There was just tools coming in. At that point in time, I hadn't even linked this whole PayPal thing together. I was still learning about PayPal, and I hadn't done raffles yet. I started doing raffles like getting closer to the actual event itself when I started like, okay, here's how we're gonna do the raffle some of these tools off to fund the barbecue. Like that was some of my first raffles that I ever did was going into TOT. But there was like no hand money donations. Like people weren't mailing me money upon money upon money. They were mailing me tools and tools
Okay.
that I was just stockpiling in drawers. The only money that ever came in was stuff that we were raffling off towards the end of that, getting ready to go into the barbecue itself. That's when we started raffling stuff off to get the barbecue money. And I think we came up with like, I think it was like $300 in donations and shit like that. So we ended up fucking putting down $300 in food to a 3-person barbecue. And then the
Yeah.
rest of the food went home and we just put it in the fridge and freezer. I passed out some drinks to Matt G6 who was there because I got diet soda for him because they don't drink a lot of sugar. I think it has something to do with diabetes. And I asked Frankie M if he wanted to take anything home. He said he was good. So we ended up refrigerating a lot of it. You going night nights? Hey, kisses. Night like minis. Watch your feet. So, yeah.
Let me ask you this. What kind of record keeping did you do other than filming donations? Did you write things down, or if people gave specific instructions for what they wanted done with stuff?
No, there was no specific directions or anything like that. It was strictly a PayPal thing. And the only thing record keeping I did was I would put in the names on the little tickets that we have, and I'd
No,
throw
no,
them in a
I'm
cup and
sorry.
shake it up.
Let me clarify. I'm saying when people send in tools, did you catalog the incoming tools? And if, say,
Oh no, I
somebody's
just shook them all into the bottom drawer of the toolbox, and I do a video about it. I'm like, this is from so and so. They're sending us this. Let's do the unboxing during mail call. We pull out the tools. Okay, cool. And then I put all the tools inside the toolbox, and then we threw the box away. Some of the addresses I would save. I sent out some postcards as thank you cards to everybody. So some people got postcards for doing that. I still have some addresses here that I wrote down. I started writing down addresses after we started getting a lot of mail coming in. So I was like, oh shit. Some of the stuff was like they would send a letter that said, this is for you to do a review on. Like Chong Ham was really cool. He'd be like, you can use this in a live raffle, or you can keep it, or you can give it to tool technicians at tomorrow. This is for Carlos. This is for Jake. This is for raffles, or you can keep it, or you can give it to technicians at tomorrow. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So Chong Ham was really cool about like spacing out what went where. And then I got one guy sent me a box. I don't even remember who it was. Literally, do you remember that set of dikes? I sent you that set of dikes, right?
yeah,
And I have the other set. That came in a big ass box full of random ass sockets and wrenches. And there was no note. There was no saying what it was for. I had no fucking clue. So I literally shuck all those tools except for the 2 dikes that I gave you one and I kept one. And I put them all in a bucket and I gave it to Carlos during the barbecue. I said, you can take all those with you too and give those to the kids at the college if they're missing onesies and twosies or whatever. I don't know. I know some people robbed his house too. So I was like, if you want to take some tools out of that to help you with that, somebody just mailed it to me. I got no fucking clue. You can have it. So I got a lot of packages like that that were just like, no note, no nothing, just tools in a box.
So you mentioned this, and this is a good time for me to make a disclosure. I did get, I got that set of dikes, and I also got a set of OEM tools, 9-inch long uh, crimpers, and also the one raffle. Well, we'll say that when we get there, but in the interest of full disclosure, I want to bring that stuff up. And I did go back in the videos where those two items specifically were donated, and they were designated as do whatever you want to do with this stuff. And when we get a little further ahead, I'll talk about a third thing that wasn't that, how that ended up.
And some stuff that was for the technicians of tomorrow, I didn't put too much behind it. Like, you got to bear in mind, when I only had Matt G6, Frankie M, and Carlos were the only ones that showed up, I gave them so many tools that I still had tools left over. So my thought process behind it was, well, how many fucking guys do I have following me right now? I've got almost, four. I think that time I had like 4,000 subs or some shit like that. I almost got to 5,000, but that's neither here nor there. But I was like, a lot of these guys are new technicians. They're just starting off. They're still in high school. They're starving mechanics that are like China, uptown China's fucking city, where they got nothing but China shit. What if I gave back to them? Isn't that kind of like technicians of tomorrow too? I couldn't give back to my community, so I'll give it to the tool community. So I considered my YouTube followers as part of that. And I was like, okay, well, I gave away a big ass box full of tools to give to Matt G6's son, who's in college for automotive. I gave some tools over to Frankie M, and then I took the rest of the shit and I just fucking piled it into the community and flat rate shipped everything off to everybody else during raffles and giveaways.
Okay, but just to go back to this, just so we're solid on this, with the journal that you kept, where you kept people's addresses and so on, did you ever do any record keeping of what exact tools came in, who they were from, who they were designated for?
The only record keeping I did in here was like free stickers, T-shirt, people that ordered T-shirts and stickers. I put that there. So and when someone would win something, I would put on there like Ratchet Screwdriver, Ratchet Pittsburgh. So I put down certain things that people won to make sure that they were going off to them, and I was like kind of Santa Clausing my list. Extensions and a 2X large T-shirt. I mean, I didn't really like keep the best track of everything. I mean, if I could do it all over again, I'd.
You there? I think his stream died.
So there?
Yeah, there you are.
All right. So if I could go back in time and change some things about it, I definitely would. But it's in the past, man. I don't know how to change that now.
Yeah, a lot of the questions when Hard Knocks and I solicited questions from people, there were people that had specific issues that I knew about just because I paid attention, but there was a shortage of people that really wanted to email me or Knox and bring up their specific issues. Okay. And I actually, quite honestly, I took that as a good thing, because I thought, it seems to me like people want to give you the opportunity to deal with them, you to them. They don't necessarily, to be quite honest, there was a lot of frustration. And when Bob made his video, one of the things that Bob told me and Bob told other people was, I got a lot of positive feedback on that from people saying, yeah, that's been my frustration as well. And when Bob made the video, I got to say, I looked at it and I thought, I don't think this is really a constructive way for him to go about this, but I think that he's verbalizing a lot of the concerns and a lot of the frustrations that people have had about this for some period of time, and they don't feel like it's being addressed. And I saw people before that try to get it addressed. I'll use a couple different examples here. The difference, you and I in private conversation talked about the importance in delineating the differences between a giveaway and a raffle. And when you say, well, we're going to have a giveaway, and then 5 minutes later it turns into, well, let's do a raffle, or let's do this, or let's do that. You on your end trying to balance all this stuff and basically trying to lasso 40 or 50 people in a live stream, you may look at it and think, well, I'm just doing the best I can over here. Whereas other people from the outside looking in think, well, I thought this was going to be a free thing, and what item is up for giveaway or what item is up for raffle. And people made comments along the way, like they said, that the item in question was something that I donated, and I didn't intend for it to be used for that. So it kind of goes back to the TOT thing, like, what's your mission? You said earlier, you kind of basically, in so many words, you expanded the definition of what the technicians of tomorrow were, or basically it looked to me like you were trying to get rid of the stuff in order to not be just keeping a bunch of stuff with nobody
I didn't want people to think that I was keeping their shit,
Right. And a lot of the stuff leading into the barbecue, I could tell leading up to that you felt pressured to do an event. You had talked about doing an event, and you felt like, no, I got to go. And part of that is an impulsive nature thing coming through too, but born out of a desire for you to make good on the promise. Yeah, make good on the promise. So I look at it and I think, I guess to kind of bring this full circle, bring the question, do you understand where people are coming from, where when they feel like they're saying, they are speaking up, but their concerns aren't being addressed? People are getting shouted down in live streams, and maybe if 30 people say, oh, let's just do a raffle, but 5 people say, well, let's do a giveaway, or words to that effect. You kind of get where I'm coming from, or where people are coming from.
The differences between the two, and I never really differentiated the difference between either one of them. To me, it was like whatever, because I was just trying to, make some kind of way out of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I couldn't cover the cost of shipping for a lot of those tools. A lot of those tools were very heavy. So some of the shit I gave away, and some of the shit I did a raffle on to try to cover cost of shipping. And all the shipping costs that I got, I mean, everyone's like, he made so much fucking money. No. Dude, I'm not living a Beverly Hills fucking lifestyle here, all right?
I will say, I spoke up in my own live stream about that, and early on, that was one of the more popular ones that I did, because I lit into what's his face, Brady about that. I lit into him for a good 10 or 15 minutes straight about, I understood why you were trying to raffle off to raise some money to cover the shipping costs, because I was doing the mental calculation. I worked for the Postal Service for 7 years. I thought, that stuff's going to take a lot to take care of. And at different times, not tooting my own horn here,
right,
but in the interest of full disclosure, I sent you $10-$20, just PayPal to you, to like say, hey man, here's to help out with shipping that stuff. And I heard from other people that they had done similar things. They looked at there's more cost to this than meets the eye. And the point that your dad made about, trying to get some money through a raffle in order to just make sure that you weren't out any money on the whole thing, and that you were at least breaking even, it is valid.
The other thing is too, and I think people like misunderstand this. If we go back through it, we had a free pile, we had a $1 pile, and a $5 pile. So when we did tickets, they were no more than $5, but it was like $1 minimum, and then there was like $5 minimum, and it would depend on what the tool was. Some people donate like $50 at a time. Other people would donate exactly $5 or exactly $1, or they would donate like $3. So when you talk about trying to ship this tool, or even let's say some of those tools that I donated, I had to buy on credit. So now I got this like file set that's from Snap-on that's like $65. and I got to cover cost of shipping, I know I'm not going to get all my money back for it. That wasn't the point. It was just to have fun. You know what I'm saying? So I was having fun, and I thought everyone else was. So when I was like, well, fuck it, I'm not making a killing here, I'd walk away from a live stream and I'd have like 135 bucks, 140 bucks, and I'm like, cool, rock and roll. I'd start sending stuff out to people. Well, that barely covered the cost of the tool. Not to mention, I had people in Canada, the UK, Ireland that I was mailing this shit off to. I had one guy that was out in Thailand, for crying out loud. I mean, shipping shit overseas is fucking expensive.
How much of that did you keep track of?
I didn't really. I just had a couple of addresses that I wrote down in my notebook, and then after that I put it in the email and would write down on the post box and give it to Heather and say, send the shit out, and she'd send it out while I was at work.
Did you save receipts for any of it?
She saved the receipts until they got the packages. Once they got the packages, we pitched them.
Yeah. Okay.
They would give me acknowledgments in the chat room that they got their package and that they were oh so excited.
You see kind of where I'm going with that, though. Again, it's kind of a record
keeping. I'm not good at that, though. I'm not trying to operate a business here. I was just trying to have some fun.
Yeah, it seems like kind of an expensive way to have fun. I looked at it like, okay, so if you buy something on the tool truck, a set of screwdrivers or whatever for $150, with, say, he gets a YouTube check for that month, and he takes $150 of that, buys a screwdriver set, then raffles that off. And here's the kicker: when you were doing that with Super Chat, it was an extra money losing proposition because they were taking a cut. You basically were paying. By the time it was all said and done, you would have had to have raised somewhere north of $300 off of the raffle in order just to break even on a $150 screwdriver set.
Yeah, dude, that I posted that immediately to fucking Instagram when I saw that shit during the whole Brady's Tool thing. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. We had it was supposed to be I think it was something like $480 some odd in donations, and it was cut in fucking half because of Super Chat. And I was like, holy fuck, dude. Everyone was doing Super Chat at the time, so I thought it was this great thing. A PayPal thing where I didn't have to do PayPal anymore. When I saw how big of a cut they did, I said, fuck that, dude. One night we did Super Chats. Next night, I was like, nope, do not do Super Chat.
I got to say, I think that Bruce had the right idea with the whole Brady's Tools thing. It's kind of the same idea as donating to an established nonprofit rather than starting your own. Yeah. What Bruce did was Brady had a GoFundMe. Bruce just referred people to Brady's GoFundMe so they could deal with him directly, because that way any link they had to him.
I was so hyped up at that point, though. I was so hyped up with the fucking viewers that we had.
How many beers deep were you on that one?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm sure I was a fucking handful in. I probably was about 6 or 12 in, but yeah. I was so hyped up about that raffle that night. I was like, yes, this is another Carlos thing all over again. We're going to help him get his box. It's going to fucking happen. We're going to make this shit happen. And if Super Chat would have given me 90%, it would have happened. He would have had it all. But I had to actually cover cost, because by the time the Super Chat hit and my money hit from YouTube, I think I had pulled in something like $300 or something like that. And I was like, well, fuck, I don't know what to do. So I think I donated almost $200 or something like that to him.
It was 180, but that ended up getting him to spend on a new starter for his truck and a new phone because he broke his phone anyway. So let's not go there. We basically financed about 6 weeks worth of Brady's living expenses. So good for us.
But anyways, that's what I was thinking. I was like, this is the next Carlos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. But okay, so TOT then, back to that. I kind of asked earlier, but did we cover Jay Young?
Oh, Jay Young, you asked about it. So when the whole thing flopped, just before it flopped, before we had the barbecue, I was stressing out. I tried not to put it on YouTube. I was stressing out though. And I had a couple of really interpersonal phone calls with Jay Young, and I was like, this is big, dude. Look at all this shit. And I literally was like filming. I filmed like a 1-minute clip of everything that I got. Tools, empty boxes. And I was like, Jay Young, this is so big. Dude, this is bigger than my channel itself. This is bigger than I can handle. We need to figure something out here. And we started talking about trying to formulate some kind of nonprofit organization. But at that point in time, when I did some research on it, it costs like a minimum of $500 to start a nonprofit organization.
It would have been.
I didn't have that kind of fucking
more
money.
than that because, again, here's another confession by me. Initially, I thought I have the administrative ability to help out on this at a grassroots level. And when you said that Jay Young was going to help you, I thought, okay, good. I don't need to volunteer myself. But I did kind of preliminarily look at the cost of starting a 501c3 nonprofit, and I did some quick mental math, and I thought it seems to me like it would probably take about $1,700.
It's expensive,
all told.
And so I was like, well, I wasn't asking him to necessarily like cover the cost. I was asking him within the next 12 months to if we could figure this out, because I figured between YouTube revenue that was coming in, if I could take a chunk of that and just give it to him, have him put it aside to go towards the nonprofit. And if he was willing, it sounded like Joel was willing. Joel told me this was big too, and he wanted to be part of it. And I was like, he wanted to send me money. He wanted to send me tools. And I said, Joel, this is huge. Let's do it for Canada too. Let's not just do it for me and for what I'm trying to, this idea that I came up with. Let's do it for you up there in Canada too, because I'm sure that there's some neighboring schools.
No, too far. I got to cut you off. Listen, America first. Okay, you don't need to be helping out them Canadians, them and their quote unquote free health care with their 60% tax rate. Joel can take care of Joel. All right, and Joel.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he really wanted to help out.
Right.
He really wanted.
There's only 3 colors we need to know in this equation. That's red, white, and blue. Okay.
Well, they got the red and white part.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Joel wanted it on it too. I said, save your money, save the tools, keep it there. Let's help out your community too. But we'll do a big thing. Let's figure out how this is all going to work in the next 12 months. Then everything started to take a landslide. We all know the fucking story to everyone that's been following, but Junkie and Bruce started falling out. Everyone else started doing their own thing. Then some of us, like Jay Young and myself, we started not wanting to do YouTube so much anymore. And it just became just a train wreck. It was just like, skirt, and all the fucking box cars were piling up. And it was just like, well, that was fun for a little while. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, okay. So the raffle, eventually you did a raffle to raise money for a couple different things that were not TOT related. And that's going to kind of lead me to the third item that I came up with. Talk about your moving expenses when you had family members pass away and so on, kind of the genesis, the origins of that raffle.
We had talked, Jay Young and I talked about it on the phone, and I told him, I said, you know, I'm not in a position right now to keep going the way that I'm going. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, but we're going to have to probably come up with, I think at that time, I think it was like $1,500 or $1,400. I can't remember the exact number for the cremation for Heather's dad passing. And so that took a toll, and her aunt was also dying at the same exact time. And so the idea is that we were going to move into this house. We had to give notice at our other house, and we were stressed out because we weren't sure if we were going to be able to pay the mortgage and the rent. But because we put in our 30-day notice, it seemed like the aunt at the time had enough money with her SSI that she was going to pay the mortgage this month, but after that we'd have to carry it. So I was like, okay, so we'll do that. And I was trying to figure it all out.
Oh boy. I'm having like a moral dilemma here.
Oh, Well,
How long ago? Well, um,
let me grab a beer while you figure out what you want to ask me, and then we'll continue.
okay. Now, while Dow's away from the camera, I'll say, what did the Pink Panther say when he stepped on an ant? Dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant. Sorry. Hopefully he didn't hear that, because that's in really poor taste. But that's what came when you talked about the ant passing away. I thought, oh, dead ant. So sorry.
Well, she hadn't passed away yet. We were.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes the joke totally
She
inappropriate.
was still sick at the time. She actually died like 2.5 weeks afterwards, which was this was so fucked up. We were trying so hard to figure out what we were supposed to do with all this because we were going to have to go to hospice. We were trying to move everything down here. I rented a U-Haul. Now, you talk about poor planning. So check this out. I said, we're getting a U-Haul on this day. We're going to load up and we're going to go. And she's like, okay. And I was like, okay, great. So that day came and I started loading everything up. And she goes, no, the kids still have school for another 2 weeks. I want everything in the house that's mine and theirs to stay here. I was like, what the fuck? I'm trying to load the goddamn U-Haul. We're going to move it all in one shot. She goes, my aunt hasn't even gotten to that point where she's willing to release my dad's stuff. She doesn't want it taken out. So I'm like, so we can't even move in? We got a U-Haul. I'm supposed to move all this shit down there. What the fuck am I supposed to do? So I moved the majority of my shit into the garage, which filled it up. She refused to move anything for another 2 weeks. 2 weeks came, we started moving other stuff down, but we couldn't move it into the house because the aunt wasn't ready yet, emotionally or morally. So we put it all into a storage. The storage was like 180 fucking bucks. And then she ended up going to the hospital, and then she ended up dying. But leading up to all this, you were asking about the raffle for it. So I was talking to Jay Young at this time. This is before the aunt died. And he said,
It's
we need to
note
do
that you changed jobs right in there.
Yeah, I
that
just
ended
changed
up
jobs too.
a substantial pay decrease.
Yeah. And so Jay Young said, you know what? We all in this tool community came together for Bruce when he needed help. We're all going to come together for you when you need help. I'm going to do a video. I'm going to post it. And we're gonna fucking, we can do some raffles. We can do whatever we want to do. We will raise you the money, Dow. We'll figure this out so we didn't have to cover the full cost of the cremation by ourselves. At this point in time, I was already like trying to think about shit that I needed to sell to get rid of. So the donations came through. We started getting donations. We did a couple of raffles. It wasn't anything big, but the donations were bigger than the raffle. Some guys didn't even want in on the raffle. They just donated. And I don't remember how much they donated. I want to say it was something like $1,200. So I was like so fucking appreciated. It was like I had no idea how to thank anybody. I was just like, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I fucking appreciated it. The uncle covered down the other half of whatever we were short, so that helped out. And then the aunt died, and the uncle said, don't even try to fucking figure this one out. I'm just going to pay for it. Because it was his sister versus his brother-in-law.
Yeah.
So it was different for him. So he paid for the entire aunt's cremation and stuff, and so that's how that whole thing went down. But that night we raised something like, it was like $1,200. It was just under what Bruce raised or something, because Bruce had asked about it too. He goes, well, how much did you raise that night? And I was like, I think we raised like $1,200. And that number just kind of stuck in my head.
What were the items auctioned?
Fuck, I don't even remember, brother. I really don't. I have no clue. I was in such a fucking, it hit me so fucking hard because I was out there and I felt like I almost felt alone because Heather's not working. I'm the only one working. I just took a pay cut. Now I got to figure out how to move us, the family, take care of her aunt, and come up with money for this fucking cremation. And I was like, I was so fucking blown away. I had no idea what the fuck to do.
Yeah. Well, okay, so here's my disclosure on the third item I received. I entered that raffle. I think I gave $25. And anytime I enter something like that, I think, well, whatever. If I don't win anything, honestly, I don't care, because you you give what you can when you can in life, and
Right.
that's how I live my life. And it was nothing lost, everything gained, even if I got no goods out of it, so to speak. I ended up winning though, and this was the raffle where to help for those litany of expenses you just itemized off. So there were going to be two pools: people who had donated more, another pool for people who donated less, and that was where some of the issues were raised. People said, I gave so much money, this person only gave that much, yet they won this, I won that. It's kind of, at some point, it's water under the bridge. It can't be undone. But I won those sockets. I won those Snap-on sockets, and that was when I was out running errands. I think I was actually at Chipotle. Usually, when I'm running errands, it involves Chipotle sooner or later.
We don't have
But
a Chipotle, but I heard good things.
well, there's no way I could run errands there down by you. Then I'll have to keep my errand running up here in Seattle. But I was at Chipotle, and Hard Knock started texting me, and I think I was lagging in the stream, and he was saying, "Hey, you won," and I tried to type into the chat, "I won," and you weren't seeing it, and I was freaking out, thinking, I think I actually won something. So that was the first time I think I called you. Maybe it was the second time, but you listed off. I didn't even know what you had left, and you listed off about 5 different things. I think Frankie M's Craftsman set was one of them. You had a set of 1/4 inch mid-length uh, 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 metric sockets from Snap-on, and
Okay. Oh, fuck, I think I don't even remember
yeah,
the.
so I just heard Snap-on, and my response was, "Hey, Snap-on." Oso was still in the running at that point, and so I said, "Well, if I choose the Snap-on thing, I think that'll make Oso the maddest. So yeah, I'll choose the Snap-on thing." And I thought, oh, Snap-on, I don't really have much Snap-on, so that'll be kind of cool. Well, in looking back at it, that was something that had been donated for Technicians of Tomorrow. So fast forward a couple of months where people are raising issues with that, I think, well, what did I get out of this thing? Because any time an issue like this is raised, I think, well, what can I do on an individual level? And so I kind of itemized stuff that I had, ways in which I had possibly benefited, and I thought, I got a pair of long reach Mac dikes. Those were donated for you to do whatever you wanted with. I got a pair of OTC wire strippers and crimpers. Those were donated for you to do whatever you wanted with. And then I got that socket set. So when Bob posted that video, that was the thing I did. And I actually had talked to you about it the night before, because you had.
Yeah, I remember that. We talked about it briefly.
Yeah, we talked about it for an hour, and I said, "Hey, do you remember those? Do you remember where they came from?" And you said, "Yeah, I think they were donated that for that. I had some stuff that was more fragile, and I put it in other drawers. And I think when I loaded stuff up for the barbecue, that was something that wasn't in one of the lower drawers, and so, uh, that's where they were. So yeah, you're probably right. That is probably where they came from." Well, I went back through and listed off your videos, or went through your video list and tracked down who they came from. It took me about a day and a half to get a hold of him, because he's a more obscure person here. But I did eventually track him down, and I said, "Hey, I ended up with this. I'd like to send it back to you, because I don't feel right about keeping it, because that's not the reason. Uh, that's not what you had in mind, I don't think." And he said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Just keep it. It's no problem." And he was super, super cool about it. And I thought, this is like the best case scenario for something like this. And it's not up to me to have a problem with that when this guy doesn't have a problem with it. But what I told him was, you know what? I know somebody who is either in school or has just finished school back in the East Coast for Cummins for diesel, and it's a kid. I think he's about 20 or 21 years old, and I ended up sending it out to him, and so he did benefit off of it. But when people were raising issues when the Bob video kind of uh,
Came out.
yeah came out, people were making allegations, and so Hard Knocks and I kind of put our heads together on this and thought, what's being alleged? People are alleging that you're benefiting or you improperly appropriated some of these things or whatever. I think the only instance we could come up with was possibly mine, and it wasn't like you misappropriated something. It was just a simple oversight on your part. And so I thought, well, I can rectify this if that's what people are complaining about. Now I know this. Now I've done my homework on it. Here we are 2 months removed or whatever from when I got these, and I mailed them off. He actually got them yesterday. He's in Yonkers, New York. So as far as I'm aware, any other allegations, I'm not really. I don't think what I don't know what else there is for to be. I'm not sure how else you can rectify.
I don't think we can. I mean, it's kind of like past is the past, you know. I mean, I tried my best, and uh, yeah, a lot of things were not planned out. A lot of things were shot from the hip. Um, of course, if I could do it all over again, I'd change a lot of different things. But fuck, man, I'm not a planner. It's difficult for me to try to like figure out how to do these kind of things on my own. So that's why I usually incorporate other people into the process to try to figure out how to do this stuff, because I'm like, well, who the fuck knew that it was going to be that big? I had no idea. I mean, I would come home and Heather's like, you got another package, you got another package. And I'm like, holy fuck, you know? I've tried to rectify it since. I mean, I've done other things for people. I've done giveaways and nothing but giveaways before I ended the World of Mopar channel, just to try to fucking, I don't know, make up for it a little bit, I guess. So I purchased things on credit and was like, whatever. The only thing I could think of is to do some fun giveaways and just giveaways. And then we talked about it, and I was like, well, maybe I should just hold off on giveaways and raffles altogether. But
Well,
I was like, if I
the
just
one
did some
thing
fun
I
giveaways,
want
I'll
to
make up
impress
for it.
that I've seen come up from the regulars over and over and over with you, I like how Junkie puts it. And Junkie's not one to put things eloquently very often, and this probably isn't any exception to that rule. But he hit the nail on the head. He said, "Dow's got a way bigger heart than he has a brain," and
Yeah.
he meant that with. I mean, honestly, I feel like we probably should all be more that way. Uh, you did you made some mistakes, but you did it with the right heart. Your heart was in the right place. And yeah, maybe your administrative or your planning ability uh, didn't match the daydream you had. But I really would challenge anybody to point to any specific instance of you uh, profiteering off of uh, the good doings of other people. I don't really see that in this situation.
Yeah.
Um, but the one thing people have said over and over and over, I mean, your live stream, you don't need to feel like you need to give anything, or people are there for you. They're there because they like you. They like hanging out with you. And yeah, it is fun. It is fun for people to get free stuff. But if that's why people are showing up, they're showing up for the wrong reason. And
Poker night was fucking fun. I loved poker night. Poker night was great.
yeah, I just think it gets kind of complicated. And like you said, you were up for doing it a lot of the time because you were just trying to have fun. It's just difficult. It's more of a stretch when people do things with raffles, because I did witness a couple instances where people put money in and then kind of the rules were up in the air after that point. And I think you have to have the rules really ironed out ahead of time, because if somebody puts in even $5 and then the rules change after they have put their money in,
Yeah.
that's kind of shaky ground, you
You
know.
know what really helped out, and this is the biggest part, because even Jay Young said for a while there I was on a roll and I was able to do it all, but it's too difficult. It really is. He even told me that, he goes, how you managed to pull that off, I have no idea. It was like one of the first like raffles or giveaways or whatever that we did in the fishing hut. It's extremely hard to take names of all the people that are donating through PayPal onto little tiny tickets, make sure they get all their tickets, put them all in a cup, and fucking keep track of it, all while you're still trying to do a live stream. And you really need like 3 people. That's why the debate station was so fucking cool, because the debate station, you had like Jay Young was doing raffle tickets, and you had Junkie and Bruce. They were talking back and forth, and they, while they were having a conversation, they would, Jay Young would be down there writing down names on raffle tickets left and right, so the audience was always engaged, and you didn't have this giant lull of quiet while somebody is writing down names. So the debate station was actually a really good idea, and why that ever soured out or tanked out, I'll have no idea. But I actually really liked that. It worked out really well when you have multiple people doing the same thing. So like for whatever reason, if I did a giveaway and you were there to take down names, but I'm there talking about a tool, you're taking down names, I'm talking about a tool, donations come in, you see them coming in, da 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 da, and then it's all good. You got to have at least 2 people to do it, though. To be one person doing it all, it's monstrous. It's just crazy, 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 crazy to do.
I think there's a lot cheaper ways to have fun, and there's a lot easier ways to make money.
Oh, for sure. But I'm not really a gambler guy. I don't go to the casinos, but I would go down to my family's house, the Ortegas, and we would sit there and we would play poker and have fun. You put in $5, you put in whatever, and you cut everybody off, and then you start playing. And it was just this great time, and it was so fun that like when we moved up here to the high desert, I missed that. And when I formulated this community of this tool group, it was like, now I got all these people that want to do it with me. And what's the end result? They win something. So out of putting in their buy-in, they won a fucking tool. And I was like, this is great. This is fucking awesome. We got buy-ins. I can figure this out. Like, I'm thinking I could do this all by myself. It's not a big deal. And then slowly but surely, I figured out real quick that you cannot be done all by yourself. All by yourself is really difficult. I'm not saying that I'll never, ever do it again, because I love doing the giveaways, and the raffles were fun. Raffles were a bad idea. Too many people want to question about the fucking money and shit like that. I'm not saying I'll never do a giveaway again. I probably will, because I like poker night and I like playing with everybody and doing that kind of fun thing. Yes, it's expensive, but when the money comes in from YouTube, and I'm not losing anything, I'm using the money that I make off the YouTube channel to pay for this shit. It's fun. It's so fucking fun. Listen to music, you jam out with your boys, and you give away something fucking cool, and everybody's fucking happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, believe me, I've done some giveaways, and they are fun to do. A giveaway, and actually, if I see, I'm going to pick 2 people at random from this stream, and I'm going to send them each a Craftsman USA made small pick set.
Oh, that's cool.
Because with the help of the trolls, I just passed 200 subs yesterday. So,
Fucking A.
yeah, so I'll pick 2 people at random who are still in here right now. Yeah, so just to kind of clarify here a little bit, some stuff was said in the stream earlier about Bob and about his video, and I understand everybody's going to have their own opinion. I get that. Bob
was entitled to his opinion.
Yeah, and Bob's a friend of mine. Bob and I chat on the phone sometimes, and it's important to note that in a digital space where we're not interacting face to face, it's really hard to know where people are at sometimes if you're just looking at typed words on a screen. I know a couple people told me that when I started live streaming, they thought, wow, okay, I get it now. I see your sense of humor. Whereas when you were in live streams before that, I didn't really know quite what to think about you. But now that I see you live streaming, I think, oh man, that's this guy who likes to joke around a lot. Um, but the point of that is it's hard to really get to know somebody when you're just typing back and forth in a chat box.
Yeah.
So, uh, what's your relationship with Bob now? Are you guys on pretty good terms, or what's?
I don't currently know the relationship that we're at. I think we both mutually agreed and apologized for the way that things went. I apologized to him through an email because he had emailed me, and I took him literally when he said, just give it to him. So I was like, oh, okay, well, thank you. I'm sure you're helping him out really well because he's got the same exact gun, but it's broken down. He wants to use the pieces. So that's really cool of you. So rock and roll. So I'll mail it out to Brendan Riordan. And I mailed that off to him a couple weeks back. So he's got it. He's been on vacation. And then then I saw the video shortly after that whole thing. And I was like, well, I don't understand because he told me to give it to him. So maybe he didn't tell me to give it to him. I mean, I can't read text message. I can't read people's emotions behind text message. Same goes the same with email. So I apologized to him. I was like, well, at least I know how you really feel. And then I messaged him again. I was like, I apologize for, I didn't realize that I was doing those things. And I'm sorry you felt that way and everything else. And he said that he was sorry too, and he was going to take the video down. So we just kind of one hand washed the other and made amends. So, I mean, I haven't talked to him since through email, but I just kind of assume that everything's okay now. He still comes into my live streams. I say hello to him and everything else, and he says hi back. So I assume that everything's okay, but we just kind of both in our own way apologize to one another for the whole thing. And I just think it was it could have definitely been handled differently on both parts, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I can't read emotion through people's stories. That's like you said, a lot of times people get sarcasm and joking around. They take it to the wrong level and they misunderstand a message in the chat box. It's the same thing with emails. You can't read emotion behind it. So
Yeah, and
how do you differentiate that?
Not to tip my hand too much on the conversation, but I think I could speak to this. And Bob was in here earlier. I don't think he's in here right now. He's probably working. But the basically what I got from him was that you guys were on good terms. He understood more after the fact. It triggered a conversation that was larger than just the two of you, and some details came out. A lot of the problem that people had was there were things said about you were trying to raise money to service your septic tank, something to that end. And right during the same time, people are saying, like specifically on your Instagram, somewhat on your videos too, like new motorcycle, new impact wrench, new this, new that, and they think, well, it doesn't necessarily add up, and you get into kind of a weird area there where I don't really want to keep track of your finances for you.
I'm a credit junkie.
I don't want you to keep track of my finances for me either. So
I'm
I think
I'm cool with explaining it. I'm a credit junkie. I use credit cards. I use tool credit. I've got like a $12,000 or $13,000 credit limit with Matco. So a lot of the tools that I try to share and enjoy with everybody on YouTube are from Matco. Why? Because I only owe them like $4,000. So I've got all this undisposable credit that I can use, and I'm like, Not saying that I'm going to go out and buy something new every single Matco Monday, but for a while there, I was buying stuff every Matco Monday, and I was like, well, fuck, it's on credit. Who cares? I'll just share it with everybody and give them my first impressions. And then people thought ill of me because of that, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck this shit. That's when I decided that I didn't really want to be a part of the community for a little while. I just wanted to disappear. I didn't want to do World of Mopar. I didn't want to do Justin Dow. I want to be left the fuck alone. I got annoyed. I got annoyed is what it was. I got annoyed with people asking me, where's all this shit coming from? It's coming from motherfucking credit, dude. If you don't know how a credit card works, I can't explain it to you. It cannot be explained to a full-grown adult. If you want to buy it in cash, buy it in cash. If you don't know what credit is, I can't help you. YouTube it, Google it, find out what a credit limit is, and then you tell me how it works.
I get a mental picture of the Matco truck pulling up outside of your work, and you going out there like Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd at SNL, the late 70s, two wild and crazy guys. You're kind of shimmying out to the Matco truck looking at the newest Matco toy, talking about how you're one wild and crazy guy. So that's kind of why I'm grinning while you're saying this. But do you understand how people could make that connection? Where even if it is something that's on credit, they think, how could you be in such dire financial straits?
Oh, dude, when I fucking saw that, I was like, you know what? A lot of people don't realize this. Credit is a funny thing. So during that time, I was not getting approved for credit whatsoever. There was no credit. I had a small credit line when I got the tool truck credit with Cornwell. Your credit, and again, I can't teach this shit. You know, it's fucking difficult enough to try to explain it as it is. Every 3 months, your credit renews. Every quarter, it renews itself, and it tells you how your credit limit is. As your credit limit increases, people give you more and more fucking money and more reasons to buy shit. At that time, there was no credit card. There was just my paycheck. So when I had to pay for all this shit, like the move, the Heather's dad's funeral, the fucking coming down here and trying to fucking take over the mortgage, there was just my paycheck. And going from just my paycheck to a tinier paycheck was extremely difficult. Then it was no more than we got in the house, and that following month, my credit score went up to like a 623, and Matco had ran my credit for one tool. I needed one fucking tool. And I fucking ended up having them run my credit because I owed them like $500 in the truck as it was. I said, well, go ahead and fucking run it. And they're like, hey, you're qualified for $12,000. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll take this, and I'll take this, and I'll take that. Grab me this. Hang on a second. I want to
take the left side of the truck if you guys can keep the right side. But
I'll take the fucking service car. I'll take this fucking half-inch impact gun. Let me grab this whole saw kit. I just started fucking grabbing shit that I wanted for so fucking long. And I was like, okay, where am I at? He's like, $5,000. And I'm like, great. Thank you. And I fucking left.
Okay, but I got to ask you this as you walk away. But let me ask you this. When you make that payment, you're making a payment on that weekly or monthly? How does that work? Bi-weekly?
Yeah, you can. Now, you have your choice. You can pay your,
so just so you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, you can pay your bill.
Just disappear. You have to make a payment on that. The more you have to make a payment on that, the less you have for other living. Yeah, okay.
Right. Yeah. So you can make your payments weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. It's up to you. They really have no say or difference. You can either pay them like mine's like $40 a week. So I can give them $40 a week, or I can give them like $160 a fucking month, something like that. So that was pretty much how that goes. And so I was like, cool, that works for me. Yeah. Here's $40. So every time I got fucking paid, I just kept giving him $40. $40 isn't shit when you take it off your paycheck. It's when you take the $40 from that paycheck and then you pay the other guy his $40, then you pay the other guy his $40 that you're going, oh, fuck.
Yeah, you're going into
a lot of my fucking check on goddamn tools.
Right, you're going into poverty $40 at a time. So it's a lot less painful than if it was at $400 at a time, but still a difficult thing. This is like a good time to talk about the shoot from the hip, impulsive, impulsive.
buying.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't intend for this, like people were saying earlier. I don't intend for this to be a referendum on you or your spending habits, or
No,
a
yeah,
referendum on Bob
got
or his opinion on things. But I'm trying to kind of, uh, gently bring up other people's point of views, just so that we can kind of.
I impulse bought today. I have a DeWalt angle grinder. I bought a Makita. Why? I wanted one, so I bought one, and that was with my paycheck. I'm like, fuck it. I got my paycheck. This is my going away present. I got myself a new Makita angle grinder now, so now I can put my sander on one and my cutoff wheel on the other, and I don't have to flip flop back and forth. That was $56 or some shit like that. So I impulse bought today. I was like, I just want to walk around. I had like 6 things in my hand, and I was like, nope, put it all back except for one item, and walked out.
When I get times like that, sometimes I do buy those things, but more often than not, what I do is I go on YouTube and I watch somebody do an unboxing video of it, and then it's almost like I bought it myself, but I didn't actually have to spend any money on it. I told somebody that probably 7 or 8 years ago about a particular gun I really wanted to buy.
Yeah.
And they looked at me and said, "That's crazy." I said, "Well, hey, I'm not going to go spend that much money. So just every couple of weeks when I get the urge to go buy that, I watch somebody else buy it on YouTube and do a review of it, and then I'm good for a couple of weeks." But that's my fix, and that's one of the reasons I've put off my toolbox tours as long as I have, because I got so much stuff, man.
Impulse buying?
Well, no, I haven't been impulse buying. I've just been steadily buying, and I've been buying stuff. I wait. I'm not a professional, so I don't have to buy it when I need it. I just buy it. I know what I want. I determine what I want, and then I wait until it's the absolute best deal.
What do you do for a living right now?
Drive a truck.
And then the idea behind having tools or certain tools in your arsenal stems from side work, wanting to get into the trade. I mean, where does buying tools come into it for you?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I justify my automotive tool purchases by what can I use this on, and how can I work on my own vehicle.
The LeSabre, right?
To pay for this. Actually, it's a 97 Camry now.
What? I thought you said the LeSabre was the best car on the market. I was like, he's got to have like 3 of them.
It's so good. It's so good. I gave it to my dad, that latest one. But no, I basically, over the last 14 or 15 months I've had this car, I've done enough of the work on it myself. Like, I don't know, a few weeks back, the timing belt blew off. I priced it out. To take it to a shop around here and have that done, I would have been around $500. I did it myself. I didn't spend anything on the belt. I used an old belt I had. Okay. There's $500 in my pocket. Why?
Yeah,
well, because I did it myself. I took a vacation day and worked at home to do it. It took me 4.5 hours. I just paid myself a bunch of money
to do it.
Right. I financed my tools by my own sweat equity. That's what I have. It's the same thing. It's the same principle as if you buy a fixer-upper home. You put your own blood, sweat, and tears into it, and then you profit off of it. That's how I profited off of my tools. I don't buy things. I have some things that I don't absolutely need, but they're already paid for, in the sense that if I total up the work that I've done to my car in the last 14 months, I've still spent less
money
than I would have spent taking it to a mechanic.
Right. You know what's the sad part is that there's even some things that I'll even have Heather take down to have done just so I don't got to do them. We had the trailer hitch put on to the Mariner and the trailer wiring all done by U-Haul. I didn't want to dick with wiring. I didn't want to try to guess at it. I wanted it to be on somebody else's shoulders, and I think it was like after they installed the trailer hitch, it was like an extra $75 to have them do the wiring. I said, just fucking pay the man.
Yeah. Well, my dad had. So I grew up working in construction, helping my dad from the time I was probably 4 or 5 years old. My dad was a carpenter, uh, was a framer, did finish work, and then did remodeling. Eventually, ended up being a home builder. And so I worked with him all growing up. And my dad would always say, buy the best tool that you can afford, but don't buy a tool unless it can pay for itself.
Right.
And pay for itself rather quickly. So he had things that he had some really nice power tools, especially, but every one of them was paid for like within a week of when he bought it. He had a particular job where he needed that tool, and there was enough profit in the job that he could afford to buy the tool. And that's, you hear about people and their spending habits, and actually this is a good time to plug Ken the Long Guy. He has a very good but succinct video uh, about that, about the difference between wants and needs. My dad's spending habits are a lot more conservative than mine. My dad's spending habits are a lot more conservative than my dad's spending habits. So credit, it's just really part of a larger conversation. I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but
Oh, yeah.
credit 60 years ago, 50 years ago, 40 years ago even, just wasn't as much of a part of everyday life as it is now. People have different viewpoints based on when they came up. My grandparents came up in the Great Depression and World War II, the greatest generation, and so on. Credit was like almost a foreign concept to them. So if my dad looks at my tools and says, well, what do you need that for? I mean, how much did you pay for that? I think, well, Dad, list off the last 14 months of things that I've had to do to my car that I've been able to do to myself. That's how I financed that. Well, when you can put it in that context, he understands that. It's the same thing as with Junkie. Well, a lot of the same principle. The work that he's done, like the brakes on his dump trucks and the suspension work, and all the videos he's shot in the last 5 or 6 weeks. How much money has he saved himself by doing all that work himself? Well, he's able to do it because he has those tools. He has that infrastructure built in already in place. Those tools are paying for themselves. So anyway,
He's a businessman. He knows what he's doing.
yeah. Yeah, Topple's plugging that scanner I got.
Nice.
I did get a nice scanner, and
I got
Topple
another
is the
scanner
one.
that's being mailed to me too. I don't remember what it was.
What one is it?
Let me see.
I got the Autel MD802, which you know that Autel scanner that you had
Yeah.
that Minions ended up with. Okay,
Yep.
so I have the professional version of that in all system,
Okay.
not in 4 system. So it does every single car.
So this one that I'm looking at right now is an Autel MaxLink ML619 OBD2 code reader with ABS and SRS diagnostic.
Wait,
It
what
comes
number
in
is
at
it?
half the cost that other one that I had comes in at, but it seems like a pretty legitimate fucking scan tool. So I'm kind of eager to like pull it out, play with it, etc.
What's the model number?
It is. Let me pull it back up real quick. It's an Autel Maxi Link Mike Lima 619.
Oh, okay. Yeah, ML619. That's a good one.
So they're sending that one out to me to do a demo on.
The good one, mine will do the EPB. It'll retract the brake calipers, but I think that's the only bidirectional control it has.
Okay.
But it'll read all the modules, all the codes, all makes and models of cars. But as far as bidirectional control, it doesn't really have anything other than the electronic parking brake retracting the calipers.
Right.
Blah 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 blah. But I got mine shipped for $150, and that was $59 cheaper than Amazon.
Well, that's why I feel like I'm a little bit spoiled in the fact. Now, granted, I have the Solus Edge, I'm still paying on it. I think I only owe like $2,000 on it now from the 5,500 that it was. But I'm so spoiled with the technology that it has in it that's why I do these giveaways to people that actually need scan tools with these scan tools. I'll do the review, I post a video, and then I try to figure out somebody that really needs a good scan tool to like play with. Maybe they don't have one at all, you know, and they just want one, but they don't want to spend the money on one, and they end up with something that I got just because I fucking put it up there and give it away. And I like doing that too.
Yeah,
With the review items.
it is. Uh, um, just to address some of the stuff that they're saying in the chat about the scanner, that is case in point. That's a microcosm of my philosophical approach to buying tools. That scanner I waited and waited and waited on, and then when a steal came along, that's what I bought. I have that luxury because I'm not a professional. I don't need it when I need it. It's the same reason that I don't buy tools off of a tool truck. I cannot justify the extra expense because I don't need that kind of convenience.
Technology.
I don't need that kind of support from somebody being there week in or week out. So I buy stuff when it's just an absolute steal, and I think, is that something I can use? Yes, it is. Did I need a scanner? Yeah, I did. I've got something specific that I'm going to use that for. And my next investment, I got to buy Scanner Danner's book. I'll probably do that tomorrow.
I bought his ebook. I hope I still have it saved on my email because I don't have it on the new desktop now. So I'm hoping I still have his book on my old laptop that barely fucking works.
Oh, I bet if you sent him an email, he would.
Yeah, I think so too.
That dude seems like a real reasonable dude.
With the new scan tool that I'm getting in, I'll probably do a review on it, and then from there, I'll probably look to give that one away too. Hopefully, somebody that needs it. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, do you want to take any questions? Anything that I missed? Are you up for that from the chat?
Yeah, I'm up to answer any questions that get popped up here in the live stream or that you might have.
Okay. What's your social security number?
What is it?
What's your social security number?
Yeah,
it's an old joke. Classic never dies. Hey, how much you bench?
You know, I haven't worked out at the gym in forever, but the last time I benched my own body weight, which was like 215.
You know what? That's all you need to do.
That was a one-time fucking shot, though. That was like a back-arching fucking push it up and a whole 9 yards.
If it gets up in the air, that's all that counts.
One rep.
Also asks if you honestly like trannies. I'm gonna address that question. No, he doesn't honestly like them, but he does dishonestly like them.
I love transmission work, man. I like pulling them out and putting them in. I know that's not what you're asking, but I'm gonna go ahead and answer it that way.
Okay. Rusted just came through with a zinger in the chat. He said, just contact Equifax. They'll give it to you. Did you read that? In the news?
Fuck Equifax. I've called them about some bullshit that they had on my credit report, and I was like, no. That was in the bankruptcy from fucking 15 years back. You can't get me for the same thing twice. And I fought with them tooth and nail. I fucking hate Equifax.
Well, did you read the news today?
No.
They just had the largest data leak, personal financial data leak in the history of the planet or whatever.
Does not surprise me.
Everybody's stuff got stolen.
Does not surprise me.
Anybody else in the chat? Anybody other than Osos? So I've got a question. Take a trip down memory lane here. You remember that Matco pick set? Or Matco file set?
Who won that? That was that was the first giveaway I ever did.
Right. Okay. So how well do you remember this? Because Oso and I remember it quite well.
I remember that I had a pick set and I gave it out to a fellow sub, and he sent me a picture. I don't remember if it was through email or not. I think it was through email at the time of his toolbox with the pick sets in it, and I thought that was really cool.
Also said they were Snap-on files. I thought they were Matco files. Anyway, the one I'm thinking of, Oso one.
No. The Matco pick set?
No, he also says Snap-on files. I thought it was.
No, the Snap-on files was different. Snap-on files was like way later on. When you said Matco pick set, that was the first giveaway I ever did, and it was when I had like 500 subs.
Okay, this is one from probably April or May.
Okay.
And the question I was going to ask was,
I remember I bought a brand new set of Snap-on files.
Snap-on files. Okay, that is what it was.
I bought a set, red with black handle, and it was a mini set. It was a small set. And I remember there was a debate, and I think it was a debate between you or him.
Well, so here's the thing. You drew a ticket, but you dropped the ticket on the floor.
Oh, well, that could have happened. Anybody
or it was a piece of paper, and you dropped it on the floor, and you go, oh, now that I dropped it on the floor, I don't know if I can. What do you guys think? And there was the debate back and forth was, I knew that I won. I knew it. In my heart of hearts, I knew it. But everybody said, oh, you got to redraw. And then Oso won. And then you said, oh, I'm not going to say. You looked at the piece of paper that you dropped. You go, ooh. Was it me who won? That's my official question. Was it me?
You know what? There was too many beers that night.
Oh no!
I'm saying there's a good possibility that you would have won.
Oh man, I knew it. Oso, that's fine because I think I've bested Oso in every giveaway and raffle since then. So I'm still reaping the rewards. Yeah, the mini file set. You want to go back through and read Junkie out a question?
Yeah.
What about Oso not doing a live stream from a strip club when he said he would go live if he had 100 subs? Now Oso's up to like 400 subs. So.
Oh shit! Looks like he's got a fucking strip club to attend.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Let's see. Did Justin ever give away the scanner to a night owl? If so, I need to know so I can finally go to bed. Okay, that little tiny
was a DVO
C-Reader, the little C-Reader 6 or whatever it was.
Oh, okay.
I actually gave that away to the service writer at the last shop that I was at because he kept borrowing it all the time, and he kept needing it to pull codes. So I said, you know what, dude? It's $30 on Amazon. You can just fucking keep it. I got another one coming. So the Night Owl scan tool is going to be this one that I just got done telling MD Lee about, which is the MaxiLink ML619. So this scan tool right here goes for $120 on Amazon. And as soon as I get done doing my review on it, that'll be the Night Owl new and improved scan tool giveaway. So I guess you cannot rest easy yet, Ken the Lawn Guy.
Pray for heartburn in the middle of the night.
Exactly. And you know it hits. I mean, I do fucking night streams every once in a while. I'm up at like 2, 3 in the morning. Fuck.
Yes, Jackalope. Erico did send me the Astro Light, and no, he did not send Oso one.
What's an Astrolight?
Oh, that Astro 4050 SL or whatever that Astro Pneumatic branded flat lawn light.
Okay. I got to ask you a question because my dad's asking. He said, is Tecton sockets any good? I want to say no, but I don't know if you own any. I don't own any because they were the O'Reilly special Dollar Tree bin. That was my biggest thing. I can't do Tecton. I can't do Tecton. I can't.
I think for the money there are better options. If you look at the sets that they have on, um, I think Tony the Technician, who is by the way,
Tony's all about Tecton. I saw
okay,
that
but
on his.
he has a Tecton socket set versus gear wrench socket set video. I believe it's him. By the way, uh, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Tony the Technician and Mike's Tool Shed were actually conjoined twins at birth. They were truly separated at birth. Uh, it was a miracle. We give a huge amount of credit to the doctors. I mean, what a feel good story, but that's true. Okay. Mike's Tool Shed, Tony the Technician, twins, conjoined twins. Okay. But
What makes
my
cool?
remark to your dad would be I think for the money, there are better options out there. That gear inch set that I have, those I have the 3/8 set and the 57-piece 3/8 set and the 51-piece quarter-inch set. It's a fantastic set. For both of
Yeah,
those sets, you can get them online for $110 shipped.
let me tell him my tidbit, and we'll let everyone argue amongst themselves in the chat. And I don't want to sound like a fool when I say this, but I can tell the quality of a socket and a wrench by holding it by its weight, by the weight of it. And the Tecton sockets, they might look pretty because they're all chromed out, but that's mostly the chrome plating that they have on them. The rest of it's powdered shit. And if O'Reilly's is going to sell it in their clearance aisle in the special bins with the clearance tags on it, I just can't see spending money on Tecton. Everyone's like, Tecton, Tecton, Tecton. I'm like, guys, you're all looking at Amazon Tecton. Everyone's saying Tecton's good, cheap shit. I would buy Harbor Freight over fucking Tecton any day of the week. That's no joke. I would rather spend my money on Harbor Freight sockets any day of the week over Tecton. Period. Bar none. Fuck it. I'm telling you guys the truth.
You have to clarify though. You're talking specifically about the socket sets, and I didn't know they had those at O'Reilly. You sure it's that same brand?
Yeah, dude. That's where they started out. Tecton originated in the clearance aisle of O'Reilly's. Then slowly it became a name brand pitch that everyone kept pitching out because people were getting free shit on the internet. So they wanted to do these tool reviews of their free shit that they kept getting in. Then people were just getting them because they were seeing other people doing reviews of all this great product. Look, I'm not saying that the Tecton wrenches aren't any good. I'd have no idea. But their sockets, they're in the Dollar Tree fucking bin of the goddamn O'Reilly store. Why would you want to waste money on that shit? I would buy gear wrench over anything. If I had to buy cheap, gear wrench first. But if it came down to it and I had no choice and it was Harbor Freight versus Tecton, Harbor Freight wins my heart 10 times out of 10.
Well, Junkie just weighed in with no Tekken, and I don't know what Tekken has to do with the Junkie. That's a classic video game. Okay, Tekken was one of the great video games of the 80s, and I'll take it a step further. I will not allow the good name of the video game Tekken to be besmirched in this live stream, Junkie. Don't you dare talk about Tekken like that. That is a great game. I'll tell you what, you want to see me get mad in a hurry? Those trolls, they can't do it to me, but you just say a bad word about Tekken, this thing's done. You know what I'm saying? You don't talk about Tekken, and you don't talk about John Elway's quarterback, okay? Two classic games. One thing I will say about those Tecton wrenches, the combination wrenches, they're not as long a pattern as, say, the Carlisle, which I have the clone Carlisle. I have the channel lock, which are the exact same thing. They're just branded differently. Yeah. And they're half the price. I owe everyone a video on that. Maybe I'll try to do that tomorrow instead of the Canelo Triple G preview live stream. But
I'm just saying, I cannot.
Those gear wrench brand long pattern combination wrenches you have. I think those are good. But
Oh,
as far as the quality, the Tecton combination wrenches look really good. They're just not quite as long as some of the other long pattern wrenches.
I have sparked a weld on accident with my fucking 10 millimeter from Gear Wrench, and it still has true fitment towards the 10 millimeter side. I'm just throwing that out there. I made a mistake. I did not disconnect the battery, and I was undoing a positive cable that was on this box truck, and I was tucked in underway all the way. And as I was loosening up, it caught a fucking engine ground and it arced it, and I fucking let off with it real quick. Shocked me a little bit, but it put a nice little burn on the 10 millimeter. The fitment's still true. That's why I'm saying Gear Wrench is fucking tits. But if it came down to it and everyone asked me, hey, what's up, Tecton or Harbor Freight? Harbor Freight, bro. I wouldn't question it. I'd go right to Harbor Freight.
I haven't owned the Tecton stuff, so I can't speak to it. I have owned that Harbor Freight 301 piece kit, and I can confirm that the rumors are true. You can do everything there is to do with only the tools in that kit. Those 300, they make every piece count. Okay.
But that's the only place that you can get every piece, because if you try to buy them separately, they try to skip 16 and 18 millimeter.
Yeah, actually, I got their here's how I do my impact sockets. I get that 37 piece kit, and what does it skip? 18. That's the only one it doesn't have that you can't overlap. So what do? You pull the 19 out, use the 3/4 for that. You go to Lowe's and you get for 99 cents on sale last week, you get the 18 and you put that in there.
Yeah.
Why?
And you know
because
what?
I'm cheap.
18, especially on Chrysler subframes, they love their fucking 18 millimeter on the subframe bolts.
Fords too. Yeah, yeah. Any other questions? Yes, I am seeing quite a bit of traffic about Tony the Technician and Mike's Tool Shed. It is true. Conjoined twins, separated at birth. Oh, hey, Tony, what's up? Conjoined twins, separated at birth. That happened. What a miracle. All the credit to the doctors.
Let me ask you that. Gaston posted he didn't know it wasn't a question. He just said he loves his Lowe's Cobalt sockets. What do you think about Cobalt sockets? Have you tried them out? I personally have not tried out Cobalt yet, but I'd even dare to say Cobalt is probably way better of a choice than buying fucking Tecton.
It comes down to, for me, honestly, it comes down to convenience. If you've got a Lowe's or a Home Depot near you, some people just insist on buying Craftsman, which if you live next door to a Sears, maybe I can see it. I haven't had any issues with anything I have that's either Cobalt or Husky. And yeah, I don't beat on the tools. I don't abuse them. But even if I did, they don't give you any grief when you go to warranty something out.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see how you can lose. Now, the main difference, and I don't know if he's in here or not, Dan Parker has a channel where he has the comparison between the Cobalt and Husky 432-piece sets. And it is the gold standard of comparison videos of those two brands overall. And the one big takeaway is the wrenches. The Cobalt wrenches are noticeably better than the Husky combination wrenches. They're longer, their heads are lower profile. Like those two wrench sets that I gave to Minions, later Minions, those two wrench sets, he found the same thing that I found, which is on the open end. The head on him is so broad, it's hard to access tighter spots with them. So that's one nod I would give the Cobalt over the Husky. But I don't think either one. I don't think you could go wrong with either one of those brands.
Right. That's what I'm thinking too. Husky's really good, so Cobalt must be pretty good. I
Yeah.
just couldn't do Tecton. I really can't. I mean, I know a lot of guys support them, and that's great. I'm glad you're getting free shit in the mail, but I just no.
Well, okay, so important to note, not all their stuff. It's not all. It's
Dollar
not all
Tree
that
special.
straightforward. Like if you look at the Tecton pliers, anything that's not a flush joint. How do I say this? Half of their pliers are made in the USA. The other half are made overseas. It depends on what style, uh, flush rivet style. Those are all more expensive to manufacture, so they make those overseas. But like the water pump pliers, those are USA made from Tecton. And Tecton's basically just it's a division of Michigan Industrial Tools, which is pretty highly thought of in the tool world. So I don't know. I just didn't know that about them being a O'Reilly Auto Parts bargain bin.
Oh yeah, that's where they are. I can't find them on the shelf. They got their Blue Torque, or yeah, I think it's called Blue Torque, is on the shelf, hanging up on the nice little pegs, and then in the bargain bin is all Tecton.
I I I want to see the documents on that.
I'll have to
Have you
fucking
seen
film it.
it? Dude, I actually want you to. Rob's Wrenches has a video of him like getting these LED work lights and stuff like at AutoZone and O'Reilly's over the past week and a half for like 59 cents each. And, he like bought some stuff and they practically paid him to take it and whatnot. It's bizarre, those auto parts stores, the deals you find. Like he's up there in like Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'll like stop at auto parts out here looking for that same deals. They'll look at you like you're crazy. You'll start bringing stuff. Hey, could you ring this up? It's like $24.99, and you tell them, oh, I thought it was like $1.79. They're like, no. They look at you like you're white trash, and I think, well, okay, today I kind of am because I'm being that guy who's asking you to ring everything up so I could check and see if the internet prices are true to form or what.
Good shit.
Any other questions?
Looks like
No.
Frank Emtech is drinking grape Snapple.
See, they don't have that where I am either.
They don't have grape Snapple? You being right there next to frickin' Bandon, Oregon, where Ocean Spray is, they don't have a grape Snapple up there in Washington?
Yeah, maybe they do. Okay, so Bob, actually, I was kind of throwing this out as a reference. Bob got a 5-quart jug of Quaker State Full Synthetic for $8.45 a jug.
Huh.
Okay. So that
oil prices are going down, petrol's going up, or what?
No. This was a Garage Journal deal. Like one of those things they start a thread about. They're like, oh, go in there. There's also a $7 rebate per jug.
Oh, fuck. So he got it for a few cents.
Yeah, he got it for $1.45 for 5 quarts of Quaker State Full Synthetic.
Well, fucking hey, maybe I just became a Quaker State fan.
Oh, Rob's in here. Jeff Parker got one. Yeah, you guys check out that Jeff Parker video. It's the comparison. That really is the go-to video. That is the gold standard. I'm not overstating that. The comparison of 432-piece sets, Cobalt versus Husky. You heard it here
Cobalt versus Husky. That would be an interesting topic for sure. I don't have a lot of Cobalt. I really don't. I did buy a torque wrench a while back. I liked it. I loved it. I was going to keep it for the house. I needed my money because I needed gas. So since Heather was going down to get food, I had her return it and get my money back so we had gas.
I have that torque wrench. I got it for 59.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking cheap. They had it on fucking deal, and I was like, damn, that's a fucking sweet ass torque wrench. I'm like, oh fuck it, take it back, get my money back. I'll fucking get it again some other time. It was well worth it. But I haven't actually put them to the test yet. The difference between Cobalt and Husky. The reason why I say I'm a lot of Husky fan is because we got Home Depot. Home Depot in my town.
Yeah.
If you live in a small town, whatever you got, you become an instant fan of because that's what's there. That's what's accessible.
Can somebody in the chat, Rob, can you link that Jeff Parker video of the comparison of Cobalt versus Husky 432-piece set? Gaston's asking for it. I think it's Jeff Parker. That's what spurred me to buy that torque wrench. Was Real Tool Reviews did that Husky versus Cobalt half-inch torque wrench comparison.
That guy does a lot of fucking reviews, man. Every time I think about a review, he does it better. And I'm just like, I'm over it. He's already done it.
And that's the remarkable thing. You know who his biggest fan is?
Me?
Close. Junkie.
Oh, no shit.
I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but Junkie absolutely loves RTR.
Uh-huh.
Loves him.
I'll say shit. If RTR is a huge fan of mine, I'm fucking styling, bro. I only need one.
I think you got that torque wrench when they had it for $79, but you got the military discount because and this discount, the other discount. But that is why I bought it. I waited till that one went on sale. That was the cheapest price they'd ever had it for, was $59, and that's when I bought it, because I needed I just had the Harbor Freight ones that I bought for $10 each. Those the quarter inch, the 3/8, and the half inch, and the half inch only goes up to 150 pound-feet.
Yeah, the other one goes to 250.
250.
Which is what my Mac one goes to.
Yeah.
Pat Clark says, Junkie or AVE? I didn't even know that AVE existed until Junkie told me about AVE.
You didn't know about him?
No. And then when I watched AVE, I'm like, here's a guy that just talks with his hands, and I've never been a fucking, like, when I watch videos, I like seeing the person themselves. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm kind of weird like that. I don't want to just see just hands all the time.
I hadn't seen Junkie comment, so that's why I said that about him liking RTR. We'll look at his most recent comment. That was a setup all the way
He said, fuck you, I don't like that guy.
He absolutely hates that guy. That's his least favorite YouTuber in the whole world. I like RTR. I like that guy's videos.
But yeah, I had no idea who AVE was until Junkie told me about him.
Yeah, I didn't
like, have you checked him out? I'm like,
on him.
Who the fuck is he?
There's another one that you'd like if you like him, called the Post-Apocalyptic Inventor. He's a German guy.
Oh God, words, bro.
Oh, dude, you watch his videos. I'm telling you, you could lose an entire weekend going through that guy's catalog. You talk about a rabbit hole. That guy will buy like 30-year-old, old school fine German power tools, like Fine Drill, FEIN. You ever hear of those? They make the Multi-Master.
Okay.
Just
honestly,
like,
I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's always the best bet. This guy will like go through and fully restore this stuff and clean it and replace explain the commutator, and this is this, and the German or Austrian accent. It is classic, and all his videos are like a good solid 35 or 40 minutes long. I've lost days and days going through that.
Dude, have you ever watched? This is a stupid question, but I'll ask it anyways.
The only stupid questions are the questions that go unasked.
Have you ever seen? Well, this is a two-part question. Have you ever seen Conan the Barbarian?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the director uncut fucking mastery edition?
No.
Oh fuck.
Oh, because of his accent?
Because they showed you the outtakes
Yeah.
And to this day, I have never heard a grown man cry in such a manly way other than Arnold Schwarzenegger. He is by far the most manliest of man. Remember that scene in the beginning where he's getting chased by the fucking dog and he disappears behind the rocks?
Okay, yeah.
Well, they fucking cut the scene. The dog actually latched onto him and started biting the shit out of him. And all you hear Arnold in the background during the uncut portion is he goes, "Oh, get him off me! He's biting my leg! Oh, get him off me! Oh, fuck, he's biting my leg!" And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I was like, are you kidding me? I'd be like,
Get out of here! Get out of here! It's not safe here!
It's not safe. Get to the chopper!
Get
To the chopper! Come with me if you want to live!
Sarah, he just randomly stands up from behind the rocks and looks at the dog and says, "Sarah Connor."
Fuck, dude, I swear to God, I was like, this dog is biting the shit out of your leg, and you're just like, oh, get them off me. I'm like, I was rolling, dude. I was laughing so fucking hard, I was holding my stomach.
They play that movie on TNT all the time, or they used to back when I had cable, like 10 years ago, when I still had a TV. And he, in one of the Conan movies, he tells them, "I'm a Sumerian."
Yep.
But the way it comes through, we would watch it over and over and over because it sounds like he says, "I'm a Somalian." A Somalian. And we kept thinking when we were kids, he doesn't look Somalian. It took us like a solid 15 years to figure out he was saying he was a Sumerian. But with the accent. Rob's Wrenches just posted a link for Jeff Parker's Husky versus Cobalt video.
Let me see here.
Uh-huh.
I see it. Let me see if I can click on that, and then I'll give it a thumbs up so I can come back to it later. It should fall back under my history.
Junkie says he's going to do a video of his most hated YouTube channels.
You got to be truthful, bro. You got to be truthful.
Oh, man.
Fuck. Good times.
Oh, man. Well, hey. Good grief. Yeah, we're coming up on hour 3 here. And let's just say that I'm only 2 episodes into the second. I'm trying to work my way back through Game of Thrones, and in the last 3 nights I've gotten through the first season plus an episode and a half of season 2.
Can you believe that? I mean, I'm still baffled because when Heather told me it was over, I was like,
"Oh, it's not over."
Oh no! It's over for the season.
Right. Yeah,
so that's where I was baffled because I had never been a Game of Thrones watcher. So
yeah,
I
only had 7 episodes.
3 episodes of this season. I haven't watched any of the other ones.
Oh.
And then I missed the other 3. And she's like, "Okay, it's over." And I'm like, "What the fuck? What do you mean it's over? I just started."
Dude, Alluc.tt, ALLUC. Just Google that, ALLUC. That'll take it, and then you just enter there in their search bar, Game of Thrones, and you got to just binge watch it. I think I binge watched whatever the Red Wedding season was, the 3rd or 4th season. I saw like the first episode of probably the 3rd or 4th season, and then I went back and binged watched and caught up like in a weekend, caught up to where they were at. It took some dedication, but I was up for it. 40 hours of Game of Thrones is no joke, especially at one sitting. But again, I was game. But you got to work your way through the whole series.
I got to watch it. Yeah, for sure.
Oh man, it's so.
You know, I'll rewind the clock a little bit to our earlier conversation about the whole moving to the new shop thing. I got to tell you, it was weird today, man. It was weird. I didn't really feel in place yet. You know what I mean? Never worked there. When I went to the independent shop, it was like open arms, kind of like a welcoming party. And we even had a going away party when I left. And then when I fucking got there to the new dealership, it was like, yeah, whatever. Park your shit over there. Okay, we'll see you Monday. And I was like, oh, all right. I didn't take a picture. I didn't take a videotape of anything. I think I took a picture of me loading my toolboxes up on the U-Haul and posted to Instagram. But I didn't take any videos or pictures or anything like that when I was down there. Man, was it weird, though. It was such a new shop. Everything was brand new. The music was kind of turned down.
Frank's asking if you were scared.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, I was scared. I had no fucking idea what to fucking expect. And then I was a little bit kind of, first the fear hit, then being pissed off hit me for some reason. I was pissed off. Like I'm sitting there fucking trying to put tools inside my toolbox, and I'm pissed that I'm having to put them back in the fucking drawers that they were in. And then I was back to like a status quo. Everything's like, okay. I'm like so unsure of myself because I'm like, did I set my toolbox up to be efficient enough for Monday? I don't know what to expect on Monday. I'm supposed to be job shadowing under their level 3 diagnostic drivability guy while working on rear ends. And I'm like, am I actually going to do that? They're like, they asked me again, like, what did you do before at Chrysler? I'm like, I did small engine repair. I did major overhauls on like pulling the engines out and replacing them with new ones. I did transmission R&R, remove, replace. That's it. I don't know, but I brought all my shit with me just to see how it goes. I said I came loaded. I fucking came fully loaded. Service car, diagnostic car. I mean, everything. I brought everything. So I'm nervous. I have no idea what to expect on Monday.
Well, just come up expecting to work, and you'll be fine.
But it's going to be new and different, and I'm excited about the money that I could potentially make, but I'm nervous all at the same time about hitting the quotas that they have instilled for me. And it's going to be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, well, look at it this way. You're going to be doing better than you have been in months financially.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess my question is this. How much could Chrysler have changed in the last 4 or 5 months?
Probably not a whole lot, but the biggest thing that I have going for me, here was the funny thing. I came in going at tech minimum, which was $22 an hour. And when I came in to sign the paperwork for it to do my urinalysis, he's like, I don't think that's going to motivate you enough. How about $24 an hour? And I was like, okay. Sure.
Did you answer him like that? Okay.
I did. I was like, okay, sure. And he goes, great. So you just got a pay raise. And I'm like, rock and roll. And he goes, oh, and forget about the $2 an hour pay incentive perk. How's $3 an hour sound? And instead of giving 25 cents an hour per inspection, how's 50 cents sound? I'm like, all right. I have no fucking idea.
Did he say after that? Did he say, what can I do to get you into a new car today?
What I was wondering. My dad's like, well, did you ask him what you did to fucking get into these luscious fucking pay increases? And I'm like, no. I was so fucking scared of when he said I was getting all this money. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking take it and run. I'm not gonna say shit. Maybe he fucked up. I don't know.
What's his name? What's his first name?
Craig.
You should have said, Craig, is your real name Oprah?
You get a pay raise, and you get a pay raise, and you get a pay raise. I was like, fuck, man. I was like, I was shitting myself. I'm like, shut your mouth, play it fucking cool, pretend like it's no big deal, and walk out the door.
I'm with Frank. Frank says, Dow, you should have told him 28 an hour. You should have said, you know what? I'm not walking out of here with anything less than 37. And that's final.
Fuck, dude. I don't know if that's because I live far away or what, but I'm like, man, I've just got to just be quiet and take my money and go.
No, really, I would have thought that the guy would have been trying to sell you a car for that. What can I do to get you into a car today?
No shit.
I tell you what you could do. You could take my money.
While you're at it, here's a big juicy cock. Oh fuck. Yeah,
That was
you
a
just fucking
curveball. Didn't see that one coming. But Oso says that $2 an hour will pay for gas.
I ain't got no bike now though. I got that fucking Mariner and the fucking pickup truck. That's it.
You're don't divulge too many deals, but your payment must not be bad on that truck.
No, the truck is $700 a month and the Mariner's $300.
Yeah.
So the truck wasn't too bad. Brand new for a brand new Jeep Wrangler, they wanted like $890.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, my '97 Camry never looked so good.
So when they told us $700 for the pickup truck, I was like, all right, because I looked at Heather and I was like, we're trading in her piece of shit. Now bear in mind, she was already paying $500 a month for her piece of shit, and I was paying $300 a month for the Mariner. So I told her, I said, well, I'll fucking spot the extra $200 for a super nice ass fucking truck. So basically now we're both paying basically $500 a month for the vehicles.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And she does pay half. She does pay half. She pays half of pretty much everything.
Oh man, Turkey just said what his car payment was.
But that guy's rolling in fucking money, though. He's got his own business. That guy makes that in one day.
Oh, he's rolling in a truck payments. What he's rolling in. Oh man.
Yeah, $1,275 a month is a fucking lot for sure. But if he makes that in one day, he's styling.
Yeah, I know. I just can't conceive of it. I haven't had a car payment in.
I just can't believe they charge that much for a truck payment. Holy shit.
I haven't had a car payment.
I'm paying less than that for 2 cars.
Well, okay, so the last truck payment I had was the same as your truck payment, but that was 16 years ago.
Yeah.
So a younger MD Lee used to be a little impulsive in his automotive purchases, but the older MD Lee doesn't do that. That was the last car payment I ever had. I told myself after that I would never go through that again. Every car I've had since then I've owned outright.
Nice.
But you know what? That's another way I can finance my tools. I don't have any of these other expenses. Gaston's got a '97 Corolla. Good for you, Gaston. Do your thing. 298,000 miles.
Oh shit! It says his wife's car is also $700. He's paying $2,000 a month in fucking car payments.
Oh man!
God damn, Cookie! Holy shit! Yeah, man, you living the high life, bro. I hope that dump truck business is starting to sound pretty good every time I see you post a comment.
Well, yeah. It's, you know what? It's all a matter of perspective. I look at that and I think I just had about 3 heart attacks right in a row, but it's all relative. It's all relative. Yeah, Emery's got a 01
That's
Ram
why
2500 Cummins.
You know whose videos I've been quite fancy of is I like that Bearded Yakin. That guy's got some good videos. I like watching him drink beer and talk about tools. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I like guys that like kick back, relax. Mike's Tool Shed's been doing it a little bit. Tony the Technician likes to do it a little bit. It's kind of nice to watch people just kind of drink beer and just kind of shoot the shit about tools that they like and whatnot.
I'm just reading comments here.
That's fine. Hard Knocks is waiting for Mike's Tool Shed face reveal.
I already sent him the documents on that Mike's tool shed Tony the technician thing. So Knox is probably already eaten backwards if you looked at those two pictures. But I'm telling you, separated at birth. Oh man. Oh, that's a lot of payments, Junkie. Oh.
God damn, Junkie, your Snap-on dealer is $13.75. Holy fuck, bro! I give my guy like 25 to 50 bucks a week. I'm like, that's all you get. Fuck. That's how much my tool payments and car payments combined are.
Yeah, that's less than my mortgage was when I was 21, or more than my mortgage was when
we
I was
got lucky
21.
on our mortgage. Our mortgage is only 450 bucks a month. What do you say?
Yeah,
My fuel bill is 7,500 to $9,000 a month. God damn. Junkie, how are you not filing bankruptcy right now? Holy crap.
Hey, everybody in the stream, if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button.
Yeah, smash the shit out of that like button. Holy crap, Junkie. That's a fucking lot of, I mean, forget about the tool bills and the truck fucking payments and all that other shit. $9,000 in gas. Just in gas to fuel the trucks.
That's a lot of gas. That's like,
son of a bitch.
That's like enough gas. That's like me after Mongolian Grill.
Fucking Junkie's banking it. I mean, I hope you are, dude. If you're banking it that much, fucking run it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's all relative. It's all a matter of perspective. Yeah, it sounds like
I couldn't fathom it. I couldn't.
Well, like you said, I mean, at least he hasn't bought a boat.
But you need a boat. Everyone needs a boat.
Junkie, I bet RTR has a boat.
It's probably a fucking Snap-on boat too, bro.
That's probably a Harbor Freight boat. You're
gonna do a Harbor Freight boat next to a Snap-on boat and do a side-by-side comparison.
All right, well.
Someone gave it to him.
You get advertisements for advertisement emails from boat companies, and somehow an RTR video is worked into their email.
Oh shit.
All right. Hey, I'm gonna end this.
All right, brother.
Are you gonna go live?
No, I'm gonna wrap it up for the night. We live streamed it up. I don't know.
And I don't know how you do this all the time. This was 3 hours. This is the longest one I've done. Me and Knox, I think, went about 240 one time, but good grief.
Oh, well, no, yeah, usually my streams are anywhere between, well, fuck, sometimes they're 20 to 30 minutes. Most of the time they're about 1 to 4 hours. That's probably the longest I've gone is 4 hours.
Yeah.
I think the longest one I've seen, now that's sitting in front of the camera talking to everybody in the chat room for 4 hours. I want to make that clear because everyone says that Chuck's live streams are the longest ones. Chuck's good people, but Chuck does an 8-hour live stream where he's working and he's doing stuff.
Well, he's not doing that anymore. He got burnt out even doing that.
I was going to say, try to do a 4-hour live stream where you're just talking to the people the whole time.
Oh, no kidding me. All right. Well, you guys, I'm probably going to do a quick live stream tomorrow. Well, maybe not probably. Maybe I'll do one tomorrow. Canelo versus.
Depends on how much sleep you get, huh?
Yeah, Canelo versus Triple G. preview, or maybe I'll do a post-fight reaction stream or something like that. But thanks you, Justin, for doing this. I think we've kind of gotten some of the questions answered that behind the scenes or in private conversation had been answered up to this point. But I think it was a good idea to kind of get this stuff more out in the open so everybody had closer to the same information.
I do too. You know what? It helped to do this. Like I said, I wasn't too sure myself when 2 weeks had passed. I wasn't even sure if I even wanted to be on YouTube. But coming out to this live stream, doing it with you, I've already explained myself earlier in the thing about where I was saying of where the tool community itself. Once I decided to try to leave, it made it that much more harder to stay away. And the more and more I tried to stay away, the more and more I actually followed everybody else. For once, I got a chance to watch everybody else's videos, which was nice. And sometimes you need a do-over. So the do-over helped.
There you go. Well, it is like very much the Blue Ridge Mafia is the mafia. Every time you try to get out, they pull you back in. So
yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, peace out. Yeah, sub to Cat Loco's Garage. That's one I kind of gave him a shout out the last time. He's still, I don't know how many subs he's at. When I subbed to him, I think he had about 25 subs, but he's been doing a lot of videos lately and has interesting stuff. He's got that Astro pneumatic light that's an unbranded version. Basically, it's the same thing, but it's $15 cheaper, and he's got good videos. Check out everybody in the stream.
Are you going to share that link?
You know what? Cat Locos.
I don't know. I couldn't find him. I tried to look him up as Cat Locos.
He's in the chat right now. If you right-click, he's about 3 or 4 comments back there.
Let me see.
Hard Knocks just posted a link to
Cat Locos. Okay.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second before we end the live stream. It took me straight to Hard Knocks' video. So let me see. There's Cat Locos. Let me go to his channel and subscribe first before we end the live stream. All right, I'll be able to check him out later.
Hard Knocks might have been self-dealing there a little bit. Who knows?
Yeah. You know, you got to get the viewers.
That's right.
But all right, thanks for doing the chat. It was fucking cool. It was fun. We didn't listen to any music, but that's all right.
We'll leave that. That's kind of a Dow signature move. I don't know if most of the people would be interested in the music I like anyway. So I'll let you
watch. I'm listening to death metal, and this guy's listening to fucking Christian or something.
A little bit, but mostly classical music. Honestly, it's about
really?
The only thing,
no shit.
It's about the only thing doesn't
classical guy.
Yeah, it. Well, you see all those French horn videos on my channel from 10 years ago.
Well, I thought that was just a gimmick. Like that's where you started.
Oh no! I play the horn, and that's the only kind of music that doesn't really stress me out. So.
Huh. So I bet you like Beethoven, huh?
Yeah, the 6th and the 7th probably are my favorites.
The 5th is definitely mine.
Yeah, that's a classic one. If you like that, check out the 4th movement of the 7th.
Okay.
It'll be on YouTube. You just Beethoven 7th. It's the Eroica they call it.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, the last movement, the 4th movement. It's only about 10 to 12 minutes long. It's got a really good horn part in it.
I actually played the cornet.
Oh yeah,
which is smaller than a trumpet.
Yep.
And I played that for about a year or two. My grandfather gave it to me, and then I gave it back to him when I was done with it. But you know what? When you try to pick it up several years later, I tried and I could not do it. I was so much better at tooting my own horn and doing all that when I was younger that when I got older, I was like, and nothing was coming out. I was like, all right, I'm over it.
Yeah, the cornet has a
fucking kicked in, and I couldn't do it.
I don't have the dexterity to play the guitar or any stringed instrument, so I can play a lot of different brass instruments. Though I'll tell you what, the cornet's beautiful to listen to because it's smoother sounding than the trumpet. It's got a conical bore. The bore increases steadily throughout the length of the instrument, where the trumpet's a cylindrical bore. It
Uh,
basically stays the same most of the way through the instrument, so it's a lot harsher sounding. But like British brass band, traditional American brass band music where they have the cornets in there, I mean, it's relatively easy to listen to for uh, also just that's a good one also. Anyway, I won't run off at the face anymore. Uh, yeah,
no
but
big
if
deal, bro.
anybody's interested, yeah, check out the last movement of Beethoven's Seventh Symphony.
Will
But
do.
all right, man, I'll catch you later. Thanks for doing it. Thanks everybody for showing up.
Peace.
Peace.